black and white picture of David Rose away to our right-hand side on the big screen with the words underneath his name, once a Blue, always a Blue. The former club secretary who served in that role in the glory years, 1975 all the way through to 2004. This is 2024. This is Ipswich against Aston Villa, the first of two Premier League commentaries on 5 Live and BBC Sounds this afternoon. And both have the potential, after loads of goals in the Premier League yesterday, to be absolute crackers. At 4:30 later on today for you, we have got Manchester United against Tottenham. The game is underway. Ipswich kick-off. They go long, deep into the Villa half. Leon Bailey with a little backheel flick, and the ball goes out for a Villa throw. Another wicket's gone down for England in the 5th one-day international. Nick Eshragani.
Yeah, and it's Matthew Potts trying to reverse sweep. Caught off a glove behind by Josh Inglis off the bowling of Glenn Maxwell. England now 276 for 9 in the 44th over.
Having been 202 for 2 earlier on in that game. Aston Villa playing in the change strip, the white shirts with the claret trim, the light blue shorts and the white socks. Ollie Watkins is closing in on Ipswich's keeper Harry Murich. Not the best pass from him to Greaves. Greaves fires it to his left to Leif Davis. Back to Greaves. Slightly scuffs the clearance, blocked by Anana, and it goes out for a throw-in to Ipswich. So a couple of sort of slightly scruffy touches early on, Mark Schwarzer, from the Ipswich Town players.
Yeah, it was a little bit hesitancy in the defending initially. The back pass to Murich in goal. Murich obviously gave a ball away against Manchester City that cost them a goal. He was a little bit nervy on that first pass as well.
Axel Twanzebe right back for Ipswich. I'll run you through the two teams in just a second. The ball is back with Murich, the Ipswich keeper. Another one of the summer signings. £10 million he costs from Burnley, having played some football in the Premier League last season. Ipswich have played it down into the Villa half. The visitors take control of the ball. Here's Yuri Tielemans looking for one over the top towards Watkins. Watkins brings it down on his right boot. He's followed closely by Dara O'Shea. It's played back here to Jacob Ramsey. Uses Watkins again, 25 yards out in the inside left channel. And Yuri Tielemans is there in support. And Villa knocking it around nicely at pace. Ipswich trying to get a couple of challenges in. Anana finds Watkins, lays it off to Rogers, looking for the 1-2. Twanzebe is there to intercept on the edge of the penalty area. And Ipswich calmly play out through Hutchinson. Back to a Benny now. Hutchinson again, who is tackled on the halfway line. Ipswich Town throw. We're underway at Portman Road. 90 seconds in. Ipswich 0, Villa 0.
Yeah, it's a great little interplay there with Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers. Rogers' touch and the pass to the outside of his foot was absolutely brilliant. He just couldn't get on the end of the pass back from Ollie Watkins.
Precisely the partnership we were talking about just before this game kicked off. Amadou Anana, who's been a really important signing for Aston Villa in the summer as well, has settled in very quickly. Leon Bailey's back in the Villa team today. John McGinn is missing. That's the only change from the 3-1 win against Wolves last Saturday. Here's Anana again, about 30 yards from goal, decides to come back to Diego Carlos, the Brazilian, across to Pau Torres, who just scuttles forward 5 or 6 yards, lays a pass to Luca Dean on the left, who gives it straight back to the Spanish centre-back, and Unai Emery is just beckoning Luca Dean to come back towards him down the touchline, but Villa have already switched play over to the right-hand side of the field. Ipswich can't get a touch at the moment. Morgan Rogers darts into space, forward to Watkins, laid off to Ramsey, 25 yards out, wide it goes here to Dean. Very deliberate control of the ball with his left instep. Ramsey onto Tielemans, just drawing the Ipswich defenders out here. Tielemans gets it back from Pau Torres, lining one up, 25 yards out, hits it well just over the bar. That'll be a goal kick to Ipswich, Mark.
Yeah, just opened up for him, didn't it? Ipswich just dropped off a little bit. Tielemans didn't have the intention initially to have that shot on goal, but the way Ipswich just dropped off, the whole thing just opened up, and he thought, right, I'm going to have a go at this. Just slightly overhits it and over the crossbar. I think Murich had that one covered on this occasion.
Rangers beating Hibs by 1-0. Lunchtime kick-off in the Scottish Premiership today, so they close the gap on Celtic and Aberdeen to 5 points. Calvin Phillips is fouled inside the Ipswich half, so Ipswich get a free kick. They've got Murich in goal. Axel Twanzebe is right back. The two centre-backs are Dara O'Shea and Jacob Greaves. Leif Davis at left back. Calvin Phillips back from injury alongside Sam Morsey in central midfield. Chidozie Obene, Amari Hutchinson and Jack Clark, the attacking three, with the centre forward Liam Delap with a bright white number 19 on the back of his bright blue Ipswich shirt. He's just trotting across the halfway line. Longer ball forward from O'Shea, spins out to the right. Obene heads it infield. Torres calmly side foots it away to Ramsey. Ramsey turns away from Obene. I think he's run that out of play. Kieran McKenna puts his hand up to appeal for the throw-in, and the assistant referee agrees. So 4 minutes in, Ipswich 0, Aston Villa 0, and Aston Villa have Emi Martinez in goal. Back four of Ezri Konsa, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres and Luca Dean. Amadou Onana, Yuri Tielemans in central midfield. Leon Bailey, Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey with Ollie Watkins through the middle, and John Duran waiting on the bench. Already 5 goals to his name this season, 4 in the Premier League, all scored as a substitute and 1 as a starter in the League Cup on Tuesday night when Aston Villa beat Wycombe by 2-1. Muric trying to slide a pass through the Ipswich half, intercepted, could be danger for the home team. Rogers to Watkins, quickly onto Bailey on the right hand side. Davies is back to try and make the challenge. Bailey turns away from him, turns again, drops a shoulder and makes a little move into the Ipswich penalty area. Ezri Konsa comes charging up in support, just has to stop that run mid-flow as the pass is played behind him, and he works it back towards the halfway line, and Pau Torres now across to Dean, blue shirts in front of him. So it's another pass back into the Villa half. Torres strokes it across to Carlos. Wind is gusting here. Liam Delap is in late on the Brazilian centre-back, who didn't particularly like the challenge. Play continues. Our referee this afternoon is Stuart Atwell, all in black. Carlos again, Delap in with another challenge. Carlos gets the pass across to Torres, and here's Dean on the halfway line. Back to Torres. Torres one touch, looking for an option ahead of him, slides it forward to Onana. Back to Torres. Lots of Aston Villa possession in the opening minutes here at Portman Road. Longer diagonal floated ball. Leif Davis is underneath it, heads it forward to Phillips, flicks it forward with his right foot, was caught, and Ipswich will get a free kick. The 12:30 kick-off in the Women's Super League, Manchester City against Brighton. Mike Minay.
Manchester City 1, Brighton 0. Special moment here. Jill Roord's come on for her first appearance since January when she ruptured her ACL. Huge ovation as she replaced summer signing Vivian Miedemar. Goal scorer off as well, Bunny Shaw. She took a knock. Mary Fowler replaces her. Manchester City 1, Brighton 0.
Thank you, Mike. Everton, Manchester United kicked off at 2 o'clock in the WSL. Highlights of the games tonight on the Women's Football Show at 11:30. It follows Match of the Day 2 on BBC One. Leif Davis in space for Ipswich. Cut back to the edge of the box. Nearly found Hutchinson. Villa get a couple of blocks on the ball. It breaks here to Morsey. Edge of the Villa penalty area. Hutchinson, little right-footed ball, comes back to him. Off the shins of the defender. O'Benny lays it back. Morsey drives it hard. It hits Hutchinson and the ball spins up in the air. Villa have given it away again. Calvin Phillips working his way through a heap of bodies. Clark's cut back. Delap's shot has found a way past Emi Martinez and into the back of the net. Liam Delap has his second goal of the season. Hit it sweetly with his left foot. Martinez got plenty on it, but he couldn't keep it out. It's Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 0.
Yeah, it's a brilliant start from Ipswich. Exactly the start they needed. Fantastic finish. Great play down the left-hand side. Phillips on the edge of the box does over so well. First winning the ball back and then lays it off square to Clark. Clark goes down the outside, plays the perfect ball inside, cuts it back, and it's a great finish and gives Martinez very, very little chance to make a save. Yes, he gets a good hand on it, but there's really no chance from that distance.
The roofs come off at Portman Road. Liam Delap's name announced to the Ipswich Town fans. He's got them off to a flyer. The goal has come in the 7th minute of the game. Ipswich leading Aston Villa by 1-0. They did well to keep it alive. Villa had problems clearing the ball. What about the Martinez effort, Mark, on the save?
Look, I think it's a really good strike from Delap. And the thing is, you see Martinez, he's standing at the near post. He's looking to cut out that shot initially from Clark, if Clark has a shot, because he comes in and he has the opportunity to shoot on goal. Instead, he lays it, cuts it back. And in doing so, Martinez has to scurry across towards the middle of the goal. And that's where he's still moving as the shot goes.
Ollie Watkins onto the ball inside the Ipswich penalty area, goes down. Referee had a good view and immediately says no penalty. Watkins puts his hands up as if to say to the Ipswich fans, I wasn't looking for a penalty there, I just fell over. Delap's touch takes it out of play. Throw into Aston Villa on the right.
Yeah, I don't think you can underestimate Phillips at the edge of the box. So he does really well. It looks like Villa's got the ball, they're going to clear it. Phillips wins it back and he plays it off and does really well. Takes a couple of touches, plays on the outside of his foot out to Clark, and Clark's the one that cuts it back and Delap's on the end of it. Clark,
one of the 3 players brought into the Ipswich starting 11 today. They lead Aston Villa by 1-0. Manchester United's women already 1-0 up away to Everton in that 2 o'clock kickoff in the WSL. Long high ball aimed at Watkins. Twanzebe heads it away to his left. Greaves with a second header. Bailey is able to keep this in play for Villa. Plays it back down the right-hand touchline to Konsa. Konsa with a little dummy on Jack Clark. Keeps it for Villa. Here's Bailey again. twisting tight to the touchline, works his way out of a tight space, gives it to Konza. Konza just keeps that ball in play, and Villa eventually get it back to Diego Carlos, into the feet of Tielemans. Anana, heavy pass, finds Pau Torres just inside the Ipswich half in a central position. Villa go to the right, here's Konza again. Bailey lets it run, it doesn't find Rodgers. Greaves clears, and Villa will pick up possession just inside their own half. So Ipswich have scored their 4th goal of this Premier League season, starting today in the bottom 3 after Everton's win over Crystal Palace yesterday, and Ipswich at the start of today, one of those 5 teams yet to win in the Premier League. Wolves, Southampton, Crystal Palace and Leicester, the other 4. Ipswich have conceded a free kick. It's quite a long way from their penalty area, but Luca Dean spins the ball forward and gets ready to take the set piece. Mark Schwarzer.
I mean, set plays are going to be a real challenge today because of this swirling wind that we've got here in the stadium, and that's where Ipswich are going to have to be really on it, be very careful. Muric is going to have to control that area between him and the defenders. He has got a high line at the moment, as do his teammates.
Yeah, very high. Ipswich defenders a good 5 yards away from the edge of their own penalty area. Thick blue line of shirts as Dean rolls it across to Tielemans, right in the middle of the Ipswich half. Hutchinson speeds out to close him down. Wide it goes to Dean again. Down the left to Ramsey. Ramsey plays back to Tielemans. Early delivery from him into towards the far post. Villa player down, holding his face inside the Ipswich penalty area. Might be Pau Torres, I think, who's gone down there. So we'll have a little look at our replay monitors and see what's gone on. The referee is none the wiser, and at the moment we're heading towards an Ipswich goal kick. Just over 10 minutes played. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 0, with full commentary on Manchester United Tottenham to follow from Old Trafford. Mark Schwarzer is watching here as Torres goes down. He was waiting for the delivery into the box. Didn't seem to be. There's a bit of wrestling going on there, Mark.
There is, yeah. I mean, there is a bit of a wrestling, bit of arms going around. I mean, again, the referees, I don't think he's having any of it. I mean, the way that Pau Torres was sort of rolling around on the ground, it looked like it was a lot worse than actually what it was on the video replay. Unless in the wrestling, Mark, one of those classic ones where you just get a flick in the eye and it's actually really painful. Maybe he just got straight. No, that's on the back of the head, mate. Okay. There's nowhere near his eye there. Eyes in the back of his head? Maybe. And it was just literally a little bit of just a brush on the back of his head as well.
Yeah. Well, we're back underway. Liam Delap being held by Diego Carlos. Kieran McKenna complains. Thousands of Ipswich fans complain as well. Decision doesn't go Ipswich's way, and Emi Martinez curls a lovely ball into the path of Konza, who rolls it down the right-hand touchline to Bailey, who purposefully plays his pass to Anana. Aston Villa, steady, patient possession inside their own half. Diego Carlos onto Torres. Dean makes a move up the line, then comes back towards the ball. Dean receives it from Torres, plays back to Torres. They're quite liking the look seen already, Mark, 2 or 3 times, the quick longer ball over the top towards Ollie Watkins and the runners off him.
Yeah, and he does really well. Ollie Watkins is one of his strengths, definitely, is running off the shoulder, looking for that ball over the top, and then normally putting his foot on it and looking for the added support. So Villa do it well. You know, they know Ipswich are going to try and press them high as well, so it always creates a bit of doubt. Be careful, we're going to play one over the top.
Konza, bit of space to work with for the Aston Villa right back, driving forward deep into the Ipswich half. Jack Clarke is back just to make things awkward for him. Plays it to Bailey, back to Anana. Anana slides a pass into the Ipswich penalty area, and Leif Davis is able to intercept. His pass forward hits the heels of Delap. Delap is caught, he thought, goes tumbling, no free kick, and play continues. And applause rings round the ground as a picture appears on the big screen away to our right. A picture of Taylor Irriton, Ipswich Town fan, who died this year, very sadly, at the age of 13. Once again, the words underneath: once a blue, always a blue. Fondly remembered here by the Ipswich Town faithful. Tielemans ball over the top. Rodgers running onto it. Flicks it up in the air beyond Muric. Watkins jumps. O'Shea gets his body in the way. Good defending from the Ipswich centre-back, and Phillips eventually completes that clearance.
Yeah, O'Shea does really, really well. The ball's really high up in the sort of middle of the 18-yard box towards a penalty spot, and he just prevents Ollie Watkins getting a free header.
Ipswich break-up play, halfway line. Delap looking for the run of Jack Clarke. Clarke beaten to that by Konza. Konza plays it back here to Martinez. Emi Martinez, calm under pressure, left-footed pass into the right-back position, finds Konza. 14 minutes played at Portman Road. You're listening to it on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. and Ipswich lead Aston Villa by 1-0. Dean's pass down the line. Ramsey's done well to win that for Villa. Quickly plays it in field to Watkins. Watkins runs at Greaves, knocks the ball through his legs. Greaves clears it away, only as far as Rodgers. Little touch and flick up from Rodgers, gets it back from Watkins, hits the shot and sends Muric the wrong way, finds the bottom corner. It was the Greaves clearance that got Ipswich in a mess, and Morgan Rodgers, with his first goal of the season, rifles it into the bottom corner. Ipswich 1, Villa 1.
Yeah, it's just the goal that Villa needed, really. They're all the play. They dominated play even from the start of the whistle. The goal that they conceded coming against a run of play. This time, they get one opportunity and they take it. It's really good play again with Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rodgers combining really, really well. And initially, it's that bad pass or bad clearance from Greaves towards the middle of the 18-yard box. But Morgan Rodgers, his touch on the ball is absolutely sublime.
2 goals then in the first 15 minutes of the game. Let's check in on the cricket in Bristol. Nikesh Regani.
Where Adil Rashid is playing an absolute blinder here. He's taken England beyond 300. He's moved on to 35 not out from 32 balls. England were in a heap of trouble when he came to the crease. They're now 306 for 9 in the 49th over.
Thank you, Nikesh. I can't tell you how happy that makes me sitting next to the former Australian international Mark Schwarzer. Game on, Mark, in Bristol.
Well, I wouldn't have expected anything else, would I?
Commentary continues of the cricket over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. The game is yet to get back underway. Nothing on the big screen that suggests the goal is going to get ruled out. Referee blows his whistle and it stands. So Morgan Rodgers with the equaliser. Greaves initially doing well to get the ball off Watkins, but then the clearance was hurried. Rodgers did well to intercept, kept it alive inside the Ipswich penalty area. Delap is jumped into by Carlos, and that will be a free kick for Ipswich, probably about 30 yards out in the inside left channel. It's 1-1.
Yeah, just a silly challenge. Doesn't need to go for it the way he does. Carlos just gives a really silly free kick in a dangerous position.
So let's see what Ipswich Town can do with this. We expected an attacking game. We expected goals. Austin McPhee, set-piece specialist for Aston Villa. Very recognisable figure with the long flowing hair blowing in the gusting wind this afternoon. He's very prominent whenever they're defending or attacking a set-piece. This time Aston Villa defending their penalty area, and Leif Davis, with all those assists for Ipswich in the Championship last season, gets ready to deliver. Waits for Stuart Atwell's whistle. There we go. Davis curls it in with his left foot. There's the header from Twanzebe, which goes gliding over the crossbar and behind for the Aston Villa goal kick. Yeah, great delivery into the box there. Twanzebe just does really good connection, really good. Just couldn't keep it under the crossbar, and I think Martinez has it covered as well. If he goes across across the goalkeeper towards the far post, then there's a chance. But where he's headed it there, Martinez seemed to have it covered quite easily. Goal kick for Aston Villa then. Emi Martinez all in green away to our right, drills it straight down the middle of the field, spinning ball up in the air. Watkins times his jump well, wins the header. Greaves stretches out a leg to get it for Ipswich. Morsey takes too long in midfield and Luca Dean battles hard, but it runs to Delap in the centre circle. Quick feet from Hutchinson, he's away from Tielemans, support from Leif Davis on the outside. Davis is crossing towards Clark, heads it over the bar. Quick fire attacking from Ipswich Town, and it's another header that is just above the crossbar for Ipswich.
Again, a great ball. This time Davies again across into the box there, and Clark has got to score. He's got to score from that area. He's got a free header. I'd have to say the only thing that happens is that Diego Costa sticks his leg up and puts him off potentially, and Clark takes his eye maybe slightly off the ball, and he heads it over from 6.5 yards out.
Yeah. Jack Clark, first Premier League start for Ipswich, having signed from Sunderland in the summer. One of the many attacking options. 15 goals for Sunderland last season as well. Could have opened his account for his new club there. We've had 2 goals then in the first 15 minutes of this game. Liam Delap in the 8th minute. Morgan Rodgers with the equaliser in the 15th. Calvin Phillips, measured pass with the outside of his right foot, curls into the path of Leif Davis. Davis to Clark, who plays with the long hair tied back with the thin black band. Ball forward from Morsey. runs into the Aston Villa penalty area. Martinez comes sprinting off his line and collects it, and the England innings is over in Bristol. Nikesh.
It is, yeah. 309 all out, 4 balls shy of completing their 50 overs, thanks largely at the end at least to Adil Rashid's 36. Top scorer was Ben Duckett with 107, so Australia will need 310 to win the series. There is just a little bit of rain coming down though.
Yeah, that's not what we want to hear. Commentary on Australia's reply. Radio 5 Sports Extra also available on the BBC Sounds app. Unai Emery is going absolutely ballistic about the pass that Amadou Onana has played back into his own half to Pau Torres, and Villa from an attacking position on the right have come all the way back to the keeper, Mark.
Yeah, it's not the first time today that Onana's done that, where he's misplaced his pass, has been either overhit or he's underhit it, and he's just got to settle down a little bit. He's given Ipswich opportunities.
Martinez clears into the Ipswich half. O'Shea wins the first header. Davis plays forward, doesn't find Phillips. Ipswich have lost it inside their own half, and Nana very careful this time. Short pass, sensible pass to Tielemans. Tielemans jogs forwards. No real pace on his pass to Torres. Now the pace is picked up by Ramsey. Lays it off to Dean on the left-hand side as Aston Villa shoot towards the tall, two-tiered Sir Bobby Robson stand away to our left. Morsey does well to nick it off Ramsey, brings it forward, finds Hutchinson in space on the right-hand side. Hutchinson with his head up, looking for the runners in the middle. Plenty of Villa defenders getting back at him. He lays it off here to Obene. Obene plays to Hutchinson again. Back it comes to Phillips. He's got support on the inside from Twanzebe, the right-back, who's in central midfield at the moment. Phillips with his hair tied back in a tight bun, the back of his head. Plays back here to O'Shea. Across to Greaves. Greaves just inside the Villa half for Ipswich. 20 minutes into this game. Ipswich 1, Villa 1. Twanzebe receives it on the halfway line. Prods a pass back to O'Shea. O'Shea's calling players in the blue shirts towards him. Strokes it up in the middle of the pitch. Delap lays it off to Morsey. Morsey surrounded by Villa players. Good pass to Greaves. Quickly on to Davis on the left. Davis infield to Delap. Touch and turn from him. Drills a low pass out to the right. Controlled by Obene. Just outside the Villa penalty area. Starts a little dribble, gives it to Twanzebe. Dean makes a block. Ipswich get a throw.
Yeah, Ipswich have been very, very dangerous on that left-hand side. You know, whether it's been Leif Davies or Jack Clark, and every time it goes out that wide, it just looks like they're going to cause Villa problems.
Throw-in comes in. Hutchinson almost onto that ball on the edge of the penalty area. O'Shea's got problems with Watkins here. Thought about wrestling to the ground. Decided against it. There weren't many defenders between Watkins and the goal. Then Watkins caught by Morsey, who felt he had to break that play up for Ipswich. Free kick Aston Villa just inside the Ipswich half.
Yeah, the Watkins does really well. He's all alone for a large part of that, and he keeps control of the ball, and in the end, just very cleverly, just knocks the ball inward, inside, and then takes that step, and he knows Morsey's coming in and just takes him off his feet.
So free kick Aston Villa. Ipswich 1, Villa 1. Tielemans is going to leave it for Luca Dean. Dean just knocks it forward a couple of yards. Stuart Atwell's got his eye on him, but he's not going to take issue with that. Sun breaks through the clouds again here. Wind still blowing at Portman Road as Luca Dean jogs to the ball, curls it into the edge of the Ipswich penalty area, headed up in the air by Torres. Muric off his line and makes a clean catch for Ipswich and slings it out overarm to Hutchinson, who's trying to get away down the left, just nudged over by Tielemans. That will be a free kick to Ipswich. Hutchinson thinking about going quickly. He doesn't. Full time in the WSL. Manchester City Brighton. Mike Minay.
First win of the season for the Blues. Seagulls' first defeat. Scoreline tighter than the play suggests. City had plenty of chances to make it 2-3 or more after Bunny Shaw scored the only goal of the game on the edge of half-time. Brighton had rare moments and did provide tough opposition though. Full-time, Manchester City 1, Brighton 0.
Manchester United 1-0 up away to Everton. That was the 2 o'clock kickoff in the WSL this afternoon. Other games still to come. Rangers beating Hibs by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. There's one game in the Championship as well this afternoon. That is Swansea against Bristol City. So we'll keep you updated on that one. This is Ipswich 1, Villa 1. We're midway through the first half. Villa starting to bring the ball out from the back. Pau Torres, a lot of space to run into, crosses the halfway line right under the nose of his manager, who's still talking to Luca Dean all the time here as Villa build the play up. Leon Bailey is screaming for the ball wide on the right hand side. Comes back to Diego Carlos, cross to Konza. Now Bailey gets it, but a little bit later than he would have hoped. Plays back to Konza, and across it comes to Diego Carlos. So Villa going from right to left. Torres involved again. Low pass to Dean on the left. Outside of his left boot finds Tielemans. Tielemans challenged by Morsey. That is going to be a free kick, Aston Villa. Mark Schwarzer.
See on a couple of occasions here where Ipswich, every time they're out of possession, Villa have got the ball inside Ipswich's half. Ipswich have got 6 players along their back line. 6, 2, 2, and they're defending deep. And they're just looking to... They're defending deep. When I say that, they've got that 6 line, but the actual last line is actually quite high. So the gap between them and the ball is very, very short, very small. So there's opportunities to look over the top there. It's just got to get the right ball.
Ezri Konsa is marching over to take this free kick for Aston Villa. Now, he's the kind of player you'd normally expect to be in the penalty area waiting for delivery. What have Aston Villa got up their sleeves? They take it short. It goes wide to Dean. His cross is deflected, spins up in the air, headed away by Obene. Dean lets that bounce twice, and it goes out for a throw-in to Villa. Dean to Ramsey, receives the ball with his back to goal, runs away from Jack Clark, plays it back to Konsa. Unai Emery doing some stretches, it looks like, down on the touchline here, bent down on one knee, dressed all in black this afternoon. Morgan Rogers is goal scorer, back in with Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe is back at Rogers, knocks him over, wins the ball. Rogers picks himself up, comes chasing. Morsey receives it under pressure. Hutchinson is blocked off by Rogers, and Dean and Ipswich get a free kick inside their own half, and the referee Stuart Atwell wants a quick word with Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, it's definitely foul. That's one of those moments we talked about in the pre-show about Morgan Rogers sometimes keeping hold of the ball too long, and that was one of those occasions, just trying to do too much with the ball, and then gives the ball away, and in the end, because Villa have actually pushed players forward, they're going to get hit on the counter-attack, and that's where the foul has to be committed, just to slow Ipswich down a bit.
Tuanzebe takes that free kick for Ipswich. 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Manchester United Tottenham's our second Premier League commentary of the day. It kicks off at 4:30 at Old Trafford. The winner of that one would move, if there is a winner, to 10 points in the Premier League table, above Brighton into 8th spot, point behind Newcastle and Fulham. Villa started today on 12, currently 1-1 here against Ipswich. Onana back to Pau Torres, quickly forward to Tielemans, turns in a flash. Rogers lays it off to Ramsey, then Ramsey doesn't get enough on his pass, looking for the run of Dean on the left-hand side. Obene is back there doing the defending, clears on the turn. It's blocked by Dean at close range, and it goes out for a throw into Ipswich in their right back position. All the reaction and analysis, managers' interviews, players' interviews, etc. In the Football Daily podcast, first thing for you tomorrow morning on the BBC Sounds app. And a bit of a goalkeeper special at the moment on the Football Daily feed as Watkins chases a ball into that Ipswich penalty area. Greaves got to be careful with the challenge. Greaves just shepherds him away from goal. Watkins lays it off to Bailey. Phillips is out there trying to close it down for Ipswich. Bailey plays back to Konsa, into the feet of Onana, about 35 yards out on the right. Curls a pass across the Ipswich half to Pau Torres, and Ipswich back in numbers, defending that goal away to our left. So yeah, Joe Hart paid a visit to the Liverpool training ground to visit Alisson, Liverpool's goalkeeper. Very clean shaven. I heard that remarked upon in the game at Molineux yesterday, so that is worth a listen.
I did notice that.
Yes.
That did stand out very, very, very much when I first started watching the game.
Well, the clean shaven Alisson.
Absolutely.
Here's Bailey on the right hand side. Leif Davis standing in his way, down by the corner flag. Villa attacking, plays it back here to Konsa. Konsa to Onana. Onana lets the ball run across his body, lays it off to Diego Carlos. Every single Villa outfield player about 30 yards from the Ipswich goal at the moment, trying to find a way through and get themselves in front. Huge game for them in the Champions League, of course, on Wednesday night. 5 Live will be there. Aston Villa against Bayern Munich, a repeat of that famous 1982 final in Rotterdam on Tuesday night. We've got full commentary on Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain. Here's Rogers inside the Ipswich box, holds off O'Shea, stumbles to the ground, keeps the ball on the ground, eventually loses it to Davis. Davis plays a pass in midfield. Hutchinson turns it round the corner to Delap. Delap just nicks it behind Luca Dean. Villa trying to get back quickly here. Ipswich fans egging their team on. Curling pass from Delap, not enough on it. Konsa is there, stoops to head the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, good play from Ipswich there. Pau Torres steps up, tries to win the ball in midfield, doesn't make the challenge, and that's where the problems start for Aston Villa. In the end, it was just a ball from Delap over the top that just didn't have enough on it. Otherwise, Aston Villa could have been in some trouble. Space
for Ezri Konsa on the right hand side, decided to turn and come back into his own half. Diego Carlos plays across to Pau Torres. Villa without John McGinn, who's missing with a hamstring injury today. So Leon Bailey's come into the team playing wide on the right. Ramsey keeps his spot on the left. Here's Tielemans. Tielemans back to Carlos. Looking across the pitch to the cobbled stand, the corrugated iron roof with the two flags being pulled tight in the strong breezes this afternoon, one of the Premier League and one of Ipswich Town. That ball holds up in the wind, bounces in front of Watkins, heads it forward to himself into the Ipswich penalty area, onto the right foot, tries to cut back onto the left now, lays it back to Bailey. Bailey thought about the first time shot, Rodgers is behind him, he couldn't find him. Phillips makes an important tackle. Clark gets away from Rodgers inside his own half, finds Morsey back to Davis for Ipswich. Morsey involved again. Side foots a pass back to the giant figure of Harry Murich. Away to our left, the Ipswich goalkeeper, all clad in pink, clears with his right foot but hooks it straight out of play for a throw into Villa.
Yeah, it's difficult for the goalkeeper in these sort of conditions. He's playing pretty much head on into the wind, so any ball that's got a little bit of direction off sort of the centre of the pitch is just going to get dragged by the wind, and that's another occasion.
Here's Dean for Villa inside his own half. Ipswich start to press a little higher up the field. Hutchinson close here to Pau Torres. Torres has enough time though to get his pass to Diego Carlos. Good ball into the feet of Konza. Konza is able to take this on the move into the Ipswich half, finds Onana. A shout of man on. He knew Delap was coming in behind him, gets away from Delap. Tielemans plays across to Ramsey in the inside left channel. The player's footfall sort of marked all over the checkered turf here at Portman Road as Onana finds Torres to Ramsey into the feet of Rodgers. O'Shea sticks with him, nicks it away. Villa get it back. Onana to Rodgers. He's a very physically imposing figure as well for Aston Villa, the number 27. Dances away from Hutchinson right in the middle of the Ipswich half. Referee careful to get himself out of the way. Here's Konza, low pass to Bailey with the White Sox rolled down, taking on Leif Davis, running at him. Rolls the ball back to the edge of the box. Onana lays it off to Tielemans. Tielemans one touch and then a pass to his right to Konza. Villa looking to open up the space. Bailey's cross in. Watkins header and Aston Villa in front. 10-point cross from Leon Bailey and Ollie Watkins 6 yards out plants his header into the back of the Ipswich net. Ipswich 1, Villa 2. As it stands, Villa going level with Liverpool on 15 points, right at the top of the Premier League table.
Yeah, really good goal from Aston Villa. Simple play. Get the ball out wide, get it out of your feet. One touch, two touch, whip the ball into the box, and there's Ollie Watkins free at the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's a simple header back across the face of the goal. And Murich has got no chance from that sort of angle. It's one of the first times in this first half where Villa have just got the ball simple, put it out wide, and taken one touch and whipped it in. Before that, it's been too much dwelling on the ball. This time, it was inch perfect. Ollie Watkins, simple header across the face of goal.
So Aston Villa, having been rocked by the early concession, the Liam Delap goal, now find themselves 2-1 in front. Ollie Watkins has his 4th goal of the season. He is very much up and running. 27 to his name last season, 19 of those in the Premier League. I'm sure he'd love to get to the 20 mark and beyond this season. And playing in this Aston Villa team, that is certainly possible. John Duran might be thinking exactly the same thing as well. So Watkins' header from close range has Villa in front. We've got 13 minutes remaining in the first half. Throw in for Villa. They're happy to take their time now leading this game. Konza dummies a throw forward, thinks about throwing back, then a short one to Onana to Konza to Carlos, and all the way back here to their goalkeeper Emi Martinez. And we can see the tops of those bright red goalkeeping gloves as the Argentine whips a pass to his right to find Carlos. Back to Martinez again. Ipswich just stand off the Villa goalkeeper at the moment. Prods the ball twice with his right foot and then sees Konza in a bit of space on the right. Decides to use that as his option. Konza back to Carlos. Back they come to Emi Martinez again. This time Liam Delap closes in. Short pass straight up the pitch to Tielemans. Tielemans rolls it to Diego Carlos. He's got time to just trot forward with the ball at his feet and then uses his goalkeeper again, who's right on the edge of his own penalty area now, Emi Martinez. Chips a ball to the left. Dean controls it on the volley into Tielemans. Tielemans to Dean. Back it comes to Torres. Torres to Emi Martinez. Martinez on the edge of his 6-yard box now. Well controlled that by Diego Carlos. The ball skipped just in front of him, but then he slices the ball. The clearance downfield, the pass, I shall say, meant for Leon Bailey, and it's gone straight out of play for an Ipswich throw. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, they're certainly taking their foot off the pedal a little bit after scoring that second goal. Aston Villa, they're happier just to take their time, be calmer on the ball, and allow Ipswich to come at them a little bit, trying to open up some space to play through them and maybe hit them then on the counter.
Leif Davis waiting to take this throw for Ipswich. Ball above his head into Morsey. Morsey on the volley lays it off to Delap. He's got Diego Carlos breathing down his neck. Gets away from him and Onana. Onana took a little flick in the face like Torres did earlier, but Delap has won the free kick for Ipswich with some textbook centre-forward play, I would say.
Delap does really well. I mean, he just keeps hold of the ball, gets his body in the way. Diego Carlos again just gives away a silly free kick. No need to be all over him. He's just all over him. He's, what is he? 25 yards towards the sideline. He's miles away from the goal. He's got no danger whatsoever. He's gone away from goal. And he just gives away another silly free kick.
Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2. Mark Schwarzer here at Portman Road with us. Leif Davis delivers with his left foot. It's good ball. Greaves jumps for it. Comes back to Phillips. Oh, what a hit and what a save from Emi Martinez. That came flying through a crowded penalty area and was headed for the back of the net. And Martinez throws himself to his left and receives the congratulations from his teammates. Corner for Ipswich.
Yeah, initially the header from Onana, the clearance was really important, does really well. And as that ball bounces out, edge of the box, Phillips hits it so well. And I think the only reason it's made a save is it just goes to the side where Martinez is. If it goes the other way, I think it's a goal.
10 minutes remaining in the first half at Portman Road. Referee just wants us to wait for a second before Leif Davis delivers this corner for Ipswich. They trail Aston Villa by 2-1. Left-footed delivery into the near post. Danger here. The ball's bouncing around inside the penalty area. Dean heads it away. Chested down by Phillips. Phillips drives that ball towards Davis, who leaps in the air. He can't control it, and it's out for a throw to Villa in their left-back position.
Yeah, O'Shea was very, very close to getting on the end of that corner. It was whipped into that near post area. It was a really good run. He maybe got a glance on it, just not enough to direct it towards the goal, but a really dangerous corner.
England made 309 in the one-day international decider in Bristol, so Australia need 310 runs to win the series by 3 matches to 2. We hope we're going to get a full game of cricket there this afternoon. Any cricket we do get, and all the talk around it, is over on Radio 5 Sports Extra this afternoon. If you want to have your say on the weekend's football tonight, Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage there as always from 6:30 through until 8 o'clock. So we've got full commentary on Manchester United Tottenham from Old Trafford, and then 6:06 through until 8 o'clock when Nihal will take over. O'Shea plays back to Murich for Ipswich. Murich doesn't get much on that. Jack Clark sees the danger for Ipswich, nips in, turns it round the corner to Hutchinson inside his own half. Low pass, raking across to Leif Davis, crosses the halfway line. Through ball, finds Delap, one touch. Oh, great save, Emi Martinez. This with his left foot, and he punches the air in delight. Delap tried to beat him to his left-hand side. He thought he'd done it, but Villa's keeper just too good.
Yeah, it's a brilliant play from Ipswich. Great ball through to Delap. Delap's through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Martinez just does what he does. He did it it's like the World Cup final. Sticks his leg out, his left leg, and it's a brilliant save again. Absolutely world class.
That is exactly the save that came to my mark in the World Cup final late on from Emi Martinez. This one made at Portman Road. Villa leading 2-1. Davis's ball into the near post, flicked on, beats everyone. O'Bene chases it for Ipswich out to the left-hand side, turns, faces up against Tielemans, uses his pace to try and get into the penalty area. Tielemans just gets his body in the way, and O'Bene overruns it, and it goes behind for the goal kick. So Ipswich 1, Villa 2. Emi Martinez with 2 fabulous saves to keep it at that scoreline.
I mean, that was the best one by a long way. That really was. Delap's bearing through one-on-one, and Martinez does so well. He just waits for the perfect timing, sticks out his leg. I'm going to say, look, the World Cup final one was better,
okay,
but this is still brilliant. And obviously, the World Cup final one, there was a little bit more riding on it.
I'm going to ask you another question about the save in a second, actually, Mark, from your experience as a Premier League goalkeeper, as Martinez drills this ball downfield with his right foot. Oh, Watkins leaps well again. Ipswich defender down, holding his face, is Dara O'Shea. Free kick given against Watkins. So Ipswich will have the free kick. So what Delap tries to do there, to my mind, Mark, when he goes clean through on goal, is there looked to be more of the goal to Martinez's right, so you could whip it across the keeper into the bottom corner, but he went to try and sort of beat him at his near post. As a keeper, are you watching Delap's body or his eyes to try and read that? What are you watching?
Absolutely, you're watching his body language, you're watching how he approaches the ball, and you can see clearly there, Delap, the pace of the ball wasn't quite enough for it to go on his right foot, so he actually comes inside and opens up a little bit, and the problem he's got then is the angle of which he tries to aim for that far post with the right foot, the ball's always going away from the goal, so he's got to get that spot on. He's got to get closer to the goalkeeper to start with because of the way that the path of the ball would take, so therefore the natural position to go for is that near post area. But Martinez's timing was perfect. He didn't go early.
Dar O'Shea complaining about the challenge from Ollie Watkins. Watkins was up early, he did catch him with his arm, centre forwards leap, using the arms for leverage, and O'Shea has taken a whack in the face, picked himself up.
He does catch him with a sort of, it's even possibly his elbow, but there's I don't think there's any reason for a card or anything else at all. O'Shea's actually quite low when he receives the elbow in the face, and Watkins, like you said, was up in the air completely watching the ball and gets the flick on the ball.
Leon Bailey plays a lofted pass out to Jacob Ramsey. Ipswich Town fans felt that went out of play. Ramsey's pass back to Dean. Unai Emery just waves away the protest. 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2. Yuri Tielemans on the ball, plays it back to Pau Torres, Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins with the goals for Aston Villa. The strike partnership we were talking about just ahead of the game. Long ball over the top for Watkins, flag stays down, Muric quickly off his line, gets the ball on the bounce and then looks to try and get Ipswich away and just bobbles it out underarm here to O'Shea.
Well, that's what they've done well, Villa. They've mixed things up as well, so they've looked to knock that ball over the top, because Ipswich are playing a really, really high line. When you start to do that and you start to hit balls over the top, you start to create a little bit more doubt, because the players know the higher line we hold, the more likelihood they're going to go over the top, and they've got the pace and the ability to do so.
Calvin Phillips back in this Ipswich midfield, on loan from Manchester City here this season, which is interesting given the injury to Rodri, of course, now out for the season for Manchester City. Calvin Phillips, the man initially signed, still belongs to Manchester City, his third season at the club, to sort of fulfil that role and be the Rodri replacement, but here he is playing for Ipswich Town. Twansebe plays up the right to Hutchinson, good body movement from him, holds off Tielemans, plays it back to O'Shea. O'Shea brings it slightly forward, gives it to Morsey, nearly gets the ball caught under his feet. Forward to Jack Clark. Clark looking for action off the left-hand touchline, coming through the heart of the Villa midfield. Twansebe slides a pass forward to Obene. Obene's running down a sort of dead end there down the right, but he's got his pass to Hutchinson. Great skill from Hutchinson, beats Dean, then the cutback, not enough on it, hits Torres and goes behind for the Ipswich corner. Ipswich 1, Villa 2.
Yeah, great little play from Hutchinson down the right-hand side there. That turn of pace, firstly the touch, takes two touches basically, one inside with his left and then onto his right, and then just with his pace gets outside, just the cross lets him down a little bit, gets a little bit lucky with Pau Torres not really dealing with the cross very well at all and giving away a pretty soft corner in the end.
Mari Hutchinson is the short option for Ipswich if they want it from this corner. There have been two really good deliveries from Leif Davis so far from this side in recent moments. Looking at the targets again, Jacob Greaves is certainly one of those. Here it comes in from Davis. Martinez stays on his line. Konza heads the ball away for Aston Villa. Wynn gets up again. Hutchinson's got the beating of Ramsey. Good ball in, but Martinez reads it, drops it in mid-air, bumps into a couple of Ipswich bodies, grabs it at the second attempt, comes to the edge of the box. Delap leaps in the air to try and block the goal kick clearance, and Phillips is fouled by Bailey inside the Ipswich half as Bailey went chasing for the ball. Bodies everywhere. Emi Martinez is now flat on his back, so we're going to get a stoppage in play.
Yeah, he's come out, he does really well. The ball's a dangerous ball into the 8-yard box, but Martinez, you can see really early, he makes his mind up, he knows that this is his ball, and as he comes out it catches at a really good height, and it's his own player. He clobbers into his own play, drops it. He's very, very fortunate, but he does enough to regain it really quickly and take control of the situation.
Looking a little groggy, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, so he's sitting down, waiting for the medical staff to come on the field. Ipswich 1, Villa 2. We've got 2.5 minutes plus added time remaining in the first half here. Then back to Steve Crossman at half-time. We're building up to Manchester United Tottenham as well at Old Trafford. Kicks off at half-4. What are you spotted here, Mark?
No, this is the first or the save, the first really good save from Emi Martinez there, and then we see the second one on the replay. He does really, really well on both occasions. But like I said, the second one, the one-on-one save, sticking his left foot out, was absolutely top class, world class.
In the WSL this afternoon, Manchester City have already beaten Brighton by 1-0. Everton, Manchester United is approaching half-time, with Manchester United leading that by 1-0. In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers have beaten Hibs 1-0. And if you enjoy your NFL coverage every Sunday night on Sports Extra, we have a game for you tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs, who I think I'm right in saying have won all their games so far, are at the Los Angeles Chargers. I can't remember. No, you're shrugging, Mark. You're clearly not an NFL. I love my NFL.
I don't mind.
No, not for you.
But I'm not.
Don't mind it.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, if you love it, if you're more of a love it rather than a don't mind guy, then your coverage is on Sports Extra tonight. We're about ready to go again. We've seen a few shots of Tyrone Mings, who's on his way back from injury for Aston Villa, but he's suited and booted today, watching the game, and of course was a player here at Ipswich Town. They then sold him to Bournemouth, and on he went to Aston Villa and England duty as well. So he's making his way back for Villa, as is Boubacar Kamara, who I'm told I think will be involved with the younger teams in the next couple of weeks as they make their way back to full fitness. Konza's clearance hits Leif Davis, bounces off the Ipswich left back and goes behind for the goal kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, Villa be happy just to slow things right down now. There's only 3 minutes now of added injury time before the half-time break, so they're happy just to slow the tempo of the game, take their time, allow the Ipswich players to get a little bit frustrated, as well as the crowd.
Liam Delap giving Ipswich Town the lead early on in this first half. Rodgers with the equaliser. Watkins has put Villa in front. Twanzebe heads the ball away. Anana heads it back towards the halfway line. Watkins stabs it back to Rodgers. He's caught off the ball by Phillips. Play continues. Here's Watkins. Holds off Phillips here, surrounded by Ipswich Town players. Rodgers picking himself up slowly, and then Morsey plays it to his left, but Delap won't be able to keep that in play, and that'll be a throw-in for Villa on the right, just inside their own half. And Rodgers is hobbling ever so slightly and complaining to the referee about the challenge from Phillips, who's clipped his heels there.
Well, the referee's right in saying that he played the advantage. I think Rodgers wanted a little bit more than a free kick. I think he wanted the referee possibly to pull out a card.
Monday Night Club tomorrow night will feature updates of Bournemouth-Southampton. So that is the final Premier League game in this round of fixtures. Southampton, another one of those teams without a win so far this season. Here's Phillips inside his own half, chased by Bailey, has his arm hooked by Bailey, goes down. That's going to be a free kick for Ipswich. Phillips picks himself up, continues the conversation with referee Stuart Atwell, just getting a little bit niggly towards the end of this first half. 2 minutes to go. Obene, good physical strength to hold off Dean, finds Hutchinson. Hutchinson works it to Morsey. Morsey on the right for Ipswich. Twanzebe steaming up behind him. Morsey doesn't need him, but can't find Jack Clark at full stretch. Got a touch on the ball. Rodgers brings it away. Great challenge from Calvin Phillips to win it. Rodgers thought it was a foul. Here's Leif Davis, ball forward. Ipswich now appealing for handball. Then Morsey just barges Rodgers over. Rodgers is losing the plot here. Morsey gets booked for the crude shove on Rodgers, and Rodgers just needs to keep his head, and Delap is booked as well. So 2 Ipswich players pick up bookings late in this first half.
Yeah, that was definitely a yellow card, because Morsey knows that Rodgers is away and he brings him down. And the referee, I mean, Rodgers gets up, he's still complaining about the initial foul that he didn't get. This one was definitely a foul, certainly to slow things down. And then Delap obviously frustrated at the referee's decision.
Villa have taken their free kick. They've given the ball away. Clumsy touch from Phillips as he intercepts. It goes back into the Villa half, and Konza is able to get on it and play it across to Carlos. Hutchinson closing down Pau Torres. Torres wide on the left. Hits it forward. Ramsey's up. Beaten in the air by O'Shea for Ipswich. Obene backheels the ball into Luca Dean's chest. 30 seconds remaining in this first half, and Obene was about to release a long throw down the right, and Delap is frustrated he didn't do so. Twanzebe throws it back into the Ipswich half, who've got to get a move on here at the end of the first half if they want to try and find their equaliser. Not enough time. Stuart Atwell blows the half-time whistle. So Ipswich looking for that first Premier League win of the season. Mark Schwarzer off to a fly with the Liam Delap goal, but we know all about the quality, the danger that Aston Villa possess, and they've got themselves a couple of decent goals. Good finishes from Rodgers and the firmly planted header from Watkins.
Yeah, I think all three goals have been good finishes actually, and it's been a very entertaining game. And yeah, Ipswich will be disappointed after the start that they had to be 1-0 up, and the way they gave the goals away. Certainly the first one. The first one was definitely, a bit of pill to swallow. Jacob Greaves, bad clearance. And then the finishes and the touches, first and foremost, from Morgan Rodgers was excellent. And then a really good finish. And of course, when you look at Ollie Watkins' goal, very good team goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Ollie Watkins scored his 4th goal of the season in the Premier League. An Aston Villa win today would put them on 15 points, level with the leaders Liverpool. Going their way at half-time at Portman Road. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2.
Thank you very much, both. Yeah, very entertaining game. We'll be back at Portman Road for second half commentary, and then we'll be focusing on where I'm standing right now, inside Old Trafford, sitting opposite the great Sir Alex Ferguson stand for Manchester United versus Tottenham in full. Some scores to update you on. Full time from earlier in the Scottish Premiership. Important win for Rangers after their start to the season, beating Hibs by 1-0. Also a big win in the Women's Super League Week 2 for Manchester City. They drew against Arsenal on the opening day. This afternoon they've beaten Brighton by 1-0. Live score approaching half time is Everton 0, Manchester United 1. The other scores, games at 3 o'clock, Leicester versus Arsenal and West Ham versus Liverpool. There's also a 4:30 game, which is Aston Villa against Tottenham. And in the Championship, Swansea versus Bristol City gets underway at 3 o'clock, so we'll take you there shortly. Same time for kick-off for Leicester against Bath. Massive game in the Premiership. In the cricket, which you can listen to right now on 5 Sports Extra, England made 309 in their innings, so Australia will be chasing that. You can listen to the commentary and we will keep you right up to date here on 5 Live. We'll have our first look ahead proper to Manchester United versus Spurs from inside Old Trafford after the news with Alison Hughes.
The voice of the UK
and the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Reports from Lebanon say the body has been recovered of the Hezbollah leader after he was killed by an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli army says it's killed more than 20 Hezbollah members alongside Hassan Nasrallah. Our correspondent in Beirut, Anna Foster, says his funeral could be as early as tomorrow.
That will be a significant event, not just here in Beirut in the southern suburbs, but also around the country as well, when you sort of consider the emotional response from Hezbollah supporters to his killing, and also when you consider that he led that organisation for more than 30 years and was such a figurehead, a very spiritual figure to many of Hezbollah's supporters.
A woman has been arrested on suspicion of causing serious injury by dangerous driving after 2 18-year-olds were hit by a car in Manchester. The vehicle mounted the pavement near Deansgate Locks last night. An 8-year-old boy has died in Cumbria after being injured by a gun at a farm in the Walkup area. Our correspondent Fiona Trott says police and paramedics were called out yesterday afternoon.
They found an 8-year-old boy with serious injuries to his face and head. They also found a gun. They arrested a man in his 60s. He was arrested on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm, and the boy was airlifted to hospital. Now, tragically, that 8-year-old died overnight, and the police have now told us that the man in custody is being questioned on suspicion of gross negligence manslaughter.
The Cabinet Office Minister Pat McFadden has defended Sir Keir Starmer after a Labour MP quit and criticised the Prime Minister for accepting gifts from a party donor. Mr McFadden said he was disappointed at Rosie Duffield's decision, but said she'd been disillusioned with the party for quite a long time. And a judge has ruled that a former spy and his daughter, who were poisoned by the nerve agent Novichok in Salisbury, will not have to give spoken evidence to a public inquiry because of the risk to their safety. They've given written statements.
Matt Shawley.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
We are looking for a member of Matt's Parliament for New Forest East. Mick has got a claim. Hello, Mick.
In 1997, I proposed in a little hotel. I was actually in the bathroom.
What?
We were getting ready for dinner and I wanted it all to be sort of sorted before we went in and celebrated.
Lisa Naddy, Central State for Culture Media as well.
We're toughening up the system to make sure that people who are unfit owners can't become football club owners.
Matt Shawley.
Monday to Friday from 2
on BBC Radio 5 Live. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
It's Ipswich Town 1, Aston Villa 2 at half-time in the Premier League. Second half commentary on the way, and then we'll turn our attention here to Old Trafford. Full commentary of Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur at 4:30. The finale is on the way of this cracking one-day series that we've had between England and Australia. The decider in Bristol looks like it'll be no exception. So Australia will need 310 to win, and they'll be resuming very shortly, Nikesh Ragani.
They will be, yeah. The players just making their way out onto the field at the moment. The two umpires followed by the England team, and then the Australian opening batters. Travis Head just going through his stretch routines after taking 4 wickets in that England innings. 4 for 28 he finished for in his 6.2 overs, taking the big wicket of Ben Duckett as well, who top scored for England with 107 from 90 balls. But England, despite making 309, will be slightly disappointed at the way things went. They were 202 for 2 in the 25th over at one stage, staring at a score perhaps of somewhere in the region of 370, 380, maybe even creeping up to 400. But a whole succession of wickets that fell in the middle held them back until Adil Rashid finished with 36 from 35 balls at the end to get them over that 300 mark. And psychologically, I think that will be important for England. 309 all out, 4 balls remaining in their innings when they were bowled out, so nearly batting through their 50 overs despite those wobbles that they had. The conditions at the moment here still dry. There was a little bit of drizzle earlier on, but it's dry out at the moment. The forecast looks iffy for later on, so we don't know if we're going to get the full 50 overs in. If we do, 310 will be the target. I've got England World Cup winner Ebony Rainford-Brent alongside me. Ebbs, it seems as though 309 is a little bit below par, but psychologically for England, after losing all those wickets in the middle, they've got that momentum to take into this innings.
Yeah, after losing 7 wickets for 74 runs, they really lost momentum towards the end. But 300 is a psychological level, and also with this weather coming into play, it means that they've scored a reasonable score that might have to force Australia to bat well, especially in the first few overs, because you lose a couple of wickets, and if rain does come into play, that really chips away at that calculations, what they call Duckworth-Lewis system. So they've put enough on the board, something to work with, and I expect they may try and turn to spin early, because we saw it turning for Travis Head and others, and also because of time they might try and get through some early on.
We've got Matthew Potts opening the bowling here for England. Couple of slips in place as Australia get off the mark with a tuck off the hip from Matthew, short out towards square leg. So 310 is the target. Australia off the mark, 1 without loss into the first over.
Thank you very much both. Live commentary available for you right now on 5 Sports Extra. In the Gallagher Premiership this afternoon, Leicester versus Bath, about to get underway at Welford Road. Chris Jones.
Fixtures this, Leicester Tigers, Michael Checker in charge for the first time at home against one of the favourites for the title in Bath. Bath in excellent nick against Northampton last time out. Leicester battled to win at Exeter. Today will tell us a lot more about where the two sides are. That's the music for Leicester. Anthony Watson's back for them after 9 months, but if Leicester are to continue that winning start to the season, they'll have to keep the vaunted Bath half-back pairing of Ben Spencer and Finn Russell quiet. We're underway any moment now.
Should be pretty heavy metal in the Championship this afternoon. Swansea looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Bristol City haven't had to travel far. Molly Stevens.
Afternoon, Steve. Welcome to a very wet and windy South Wales. Just the 80 miles separate these sides. Liam Manning's Bristol City looking to build on last weekend's win against Oxford, their first win in 4 games. Bristol won both of the meetings between these sides last season. There are 2 significant changes for Swansea today, though. Top scorer Liam Cullen is unwell, so misses out, meaning Jan Vipotnik leads the line. Kyle Norton comes in for Josh Key, and 1 change for Bristol City as Hirakawa starts.
In the WSL, Manchester City beat Brighton 1-0 in the day's early game. Manchester United currently 1-0 up against Everton. That one kicked off at 2 o'clock. We are just about to get underway in the next few seconds at the King Power. 6th versus 7th. Arsenal at Leicester. Chris Coles.
Arsenal looking to continue what's been a positive start to the season. An opening weekend draw with Manchester City in the WSL, followed in the week by a clinical victory over Häcken to make the group stage of the Champions League, and facing today an opponent they like. Arsenal have won all 6 of their WSL
WSL games against Leicester by an aggregate score of 23-2. Difficult to know what to expect from a new-look Leicester under French manager Amandine Miquel. A young, vibrant squad, a very promising pre-season, and a decent point at Liverpool to start the season. We are 18 seconds in, Steve. Leicester 0, Arsenal 0.
Thank you very much indeed. So we'll be back at Portman Road shortly in about 4 minutes' time for second half commentary of Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2. We are live inside Old Trafford. Manchester United versus Tottenham on the way at 4:30. Two teams who've had, I think I can say, pretty underwhelming starts, John Murray, which makes it all the more interesting.
That's exactly right. That is what we're looking at here today. And even though these two teams are in the middle of the Premier League table at this early stage, I think it's because when you think what it would mean if a team loses this match, that is why there is real jeopardy here today for whoever it is.
Leon Osman is going to be alongside John for commentary. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Do you know, I thought about you today because I thought this might be the first big coat afternoon of the commentary season, and you're not known for doing well in the cold, but maybe you've got one more week in you.
One more week. I've got a hood. I've got an extra layer in the bag. So, and also it's a tight squeeze in this at this stadium here, and John Murray's so big next to me. I can snuggle if I get cold. So no need to panic.
This could be anything, couldn't it?
Absolutely anything, yeah. Two teams with huge expectation from the fans and from the managers and from themselves to have good Premier League seasons, and yet, it's putting it mildly, saying they've had a slow start. And as John just mentioned, they both need a win, but they both can't afford to lose, and that's where it's a strange feeling about this game today. Do they both go at each other? I hope so, certainly for our sake and for what the fans need and for what they want. But do they leave themselves open? I think we've got a cagey. Could end up having a cagey one.
They're one match away from a mini crisis, another mini crisis, and if either of them lose, we know what the discussion point is going to be after the match here. 6:06 tonight across all of the various broadcasters. Monday Night Club tomorrow. And that is the biggest factor that's hanging over this game, I think.
There are other factors, like whether or not Son Heung-min is going to be fit. I've seen a couple of reports suggesting that he may well not have travelled. We don't know whether that's true or not. However, what we do know, Leon, is that he was a significant doubt anyway.
Yes, and arguably Spurs' most influential player over the past few seasons. He scores goals. He's reliable. He's a player that the squad all look to, and if they come away from home, you'd expect to have him play well if they're to get a result. But Spurs' away form has been pretty dire. Since the middle of last season, they've not done particularly well. They're going to need to be a little bit more stern. They're going to have to be a little bit more competitive in the middle of the pitch, and maybe if his absence does allow the manager to be a little bit more pragmatic with his team, bringing in a bit more solidity into the middle of the pitch. We'll have to wait and see, but either way, I don't think he's a player any manager across the Premier League will want to lose from their squads and from their team.
No, quite. But I mean, they do come here having won their last three matches, albeit two, so in three different competitions. Coventry in the Carabao Cup when they were 1-0 down with I think it was the 88th minute that Spence scored in that match. Brentford when they were 1-0 down but came back and won the match, and then Carabao on Thursday night when they played almost the whole match with 10 men after Dragusin got sent off. However, they have won 3 in a row coming here, and that has to mean that there's a little more confidence, and obviously Johnson scoring goals and Solanke as well.
Yeah, James Maddison I think is playing well of late as well, and he's a player that if he is on form, he can light up and occasionally can create your chances out of nothing. So yeah, big afternoon for Spurs.
Well, we're being positive then, John. I do wonder if, because we had a big discussion earlier about Manchester United's forward line. Eric Ten Hag says they're not scoring enough goals. They are clearly not scoring enough goals. But having seen them already a few times this season, defensively, do they look better? Are they conceding fewer chances than they were last season?
I would say yes. On the evidence of what I've seen this season, I think there has been an improvement. However, they've got to get the results, and if you're Manchester United, you've got to win matches. I think it's interesting today, in his column in the programme, Erik ten Hag says we have to be more ruthless. And I'm just thinking, with Højlund having come back now, he's come on as a substitute in the last couple of matches, is this the day that he starts for the first time this season, and in the hope that he can bring some ruthlessness?
Just checking, is that definitely this week's programme, John? Because I think I've heard those quotes from Erik ten Hag in about 30 other programmes over the course of the last 2 years.
What the programme does have as well, I'm just reading it, and remarkably, I think, today Tottenham become the first club to play Manchester United here 100 times. And there's a great article, some wonderful photographs in there that I'm just very much enjoying leafing through. Little trip down memory lane I always enjoy.
Lovely. Well, I'll let you get back to it then, because I think we're ready for second half commentary. Thank you very much, both. So, Manchester United versus Tottenham in full on the way here at 4:30. John will be bringing you the team news before too long as well, but the teams are in the tunnel at Portman Road, ready for second half commentary. Aston Villa leading at Ipswich by 2-1. Mark Schwarzer is with Ali Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, as I said at the end of the first half, an Aston Villa win today would take them to 15 points. It would be 5 wins in 6 games at the start of the league season. If they manage to do that, it will be only the 3rd time in the club's history that they have done so, matching the achievements in 1906-07 and 1930-31. Talking about taking a trip down memory lane. They lead Ipswich by 2-1. Conceded first, Liam Delap scoring in the 8th minute of the game. Rodgers and Watkins then got them in front, and then after that Emi Martinez with 2 really good saves. The second one in particular, when Liam Delap was played through the middle in the one-on-one, and Martinez stuck out a really important left boot to get a block on the shot and knock it behind for the corner. So just about ready to go again, second half. Aston Villa in the white shirts, claret numbers on their backs, the light blue shorts and the white socks, playing from left to right in the second half towards the 2-tiered south stand. The Sir Alf Ramsey stand to the left, the Sir Bobby to the right, I beg your pardon, the Sir Bobby Robson stand away to the left-hand side in our commentary position here, high up in the west stand, looking across the pitch at the figure of Morgan Rodgers, who's waiting for the referee's whistle, which he hears now. Kicks off the second half, rolls the ball back to Tielemans. Villa play inside their own half, and Konza goes back to Diego Carlos, the Brazilian centre-back, across to Pau Torres, who did well not to be robbed of possession by Omari Hutchinson. Plays forward and finds Jacob Ramsey moving into Ipswich territory in the inside left position, wide on the left. Cleverly picks up the return pass. Chance here for Villa early in the second half. Finds Rodgers. Phillips in his way. Phillips does well to block him. Tuanzebe now with a driving run out from the back, knocked over by Youri Tielemans, and that will be a free kick to Ipswich. And Tuanzebe is complaining that Youri Tielemans should be booked, but actually it's not Tielemans who's going to get booked, it's Luca Dean who is going to get booked for Aston Villa early in the second half. So he's strictly, I think I'm right in saying, Mark, not sort of meant to implore the referee to book players and brandish imaginary yellow cards. But it wasn't. It was Tielemans that knocks Tuanzebe over.
I mean, it looks like a blatantly obvious free kick. I mean, I don't know what the complaints are about. And Luca Dean obviously said something to the referee. We know this season they're pulling up players for dissent.
Ball is high above the halfway line, headed to his right by Amadou Onana, the Belgian. Here's Konza, plays back to Martinez, the Villa goalkeeper. All in green away to our left. Pau Torres. Ball forward with his left foot, intercepted on the halfway line by Tuanzebe. Here's Sam Morsy for Ipswich, who got that crucial late equaliser against Southampton last weekend. Leif Davis pokes a ball down the left, bounces in front of Jack Clark, but the offside flag goes up, and so that is going to be a free kick to Aston Villa. So no changes in personnel at half-time. Ipswich are Muric in goal, Tuanzebe, O'Shea, Greaves and Leif Davis back 4, Sam Morsy and Calvin Phillips in central midfield, Obene, Hutchinson and Jack Clark in support of Liam Delap. Morsy and Delap both picked up bookings late in the first half for Ipswich. Luca Dean has picked a yellow card up early on in the second half here, and it says on the Premier League app the official reason for that, delaying the restart of the game, which is another thing they're extremely hot on this season. Emi Martinez is Villa's keeper. Konza, Carlos, Torres and Dean the back four. Onana and Tielemans. Then Bailey, Rodgers and Ramsey. Ollie Watkins through the middle. John Duran will be itching to get involved for Aston Villa, which I'm sure he will at some point this afternoon. Dean then goes down dramatically inside his own half. Referee Stuart Atwell not interested in that. The ball is back with Emi Martinez in the Villa penalty area away to our left. Diego Carlos gets the ball away just in time as Delap was stretching to make the challenge. Back it comes to Martinez on the edge of his own 6-yard box. Calmly rolls it out of the penalty area to Pau Torres. Low pass from him finds Dean. Deep in the Villa half wide on the left. Lovely turn from Ramsey. Just sort of rolled away from Twanzebe. Brings the ball across the halfway line. Plays it just too far ahead of Watkins. And O'Shea goes back to his keeper Muric, who gives it straight back to him. Ramsey nearly takes it off him, but O'Shea gets it away to Morsey. Wide to Twanzebe inside the Ipswich half. Here's Morsey again. Morsey turns 180 degrees and brings the ball away for Ipswich. 3.5 minutes gone in this second half. Full commentary of Manchester United Tottenham on the way here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This is Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2. Clark back to Morsey. This is inside the Villa half now. Clark on the left. Low pass to O'Shea. O'Shea floats one up in the air. Davis nods it down. Clark's made a great run into the penalty area, onto his right foot, works out of the right foot again, hits the shot, it's deflected, nearly comes back to Clark, bounces in front of Konza, and Konza volleys away. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, I think he just took too long. Jack Clark on the ball there. As he comes inside, he needs to get his shot away, but he decides to take another couple of touches. By that stage, there are just too many bodies in the way, and his shot gets blocked.
Liam Delap onto it for Ipswich wide on the left, tries to knock it through the legs of Diego Carlos. Carlos gets his body in the way. That's going to go behind for a goal kick to Aston Villa. In the other football today, Rangers beat Hibs by 1-0 in the early kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. In the WSL, Manchester City were 1-0 winners over Brighton. Manchester United lead Everton away at Everton at half-time, and Liverpool have scored in one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs away to West Ham. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. Swansea Bristol City is underway, and that is goalless as well. Goal kick Villa then. Ball is right in the middle of the 6-yard box, and Emi Martinez, no nonsense, thumps it downfield, sails over the head of Ollie Watkins. Not best pleased with that. He feels that the ball should have gone out to the right hand side, and it comes all the way through to Muric. I must just give our listeners manager, we run a listeners team on the Fantasy 606 podcast playing FPL. Duncan Wise came on this week and made a few changes. Cole Palmer into the team on the wild card, who scored all those goals yesterday. Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rodgers both in the team, and Liam Delap as well. So the listeners are flying.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Palmer in my side as well, and Ollie Watkins, I've captained him this weekend as well.
So extra reason to be pleased for the Watkins goal, which has Aston Villa in front. Ipswich fans not happy that Calvin Phillips was barged over. Referee plays an advantage. The ball gets away from Hutchinson, and Watkins plays it back to Pau Torres. So the BBC's Fantasy Football podcast is Fantasy 606 with me, Chris Sutton, and Statman Dave, and it's available via the BBC Sounds app every Thursday. But the listeners are beating all of us, and if you want a chance to manage the listeners team, then send us an email on fantasy606@bbc.co.uk. You can come on the pod and you can make the changes to the team. Watkins, great first touch, gets away from Morsey, brings it forward to Bailey, lays it back to Watkins. Morsey trying to stick to his task. Leif Davis makes a really important interception for Ipswich, and Jack Clark comes running with the ball through his own half, finds Hutchinson in a bit of space. Leif Davis in lots of space on the left. Hutchinson's not seen that yet, gets his head up, switches it to the right hand side, and Dean acrobatically volleys the ball away for an Ipswich throw in an attacking position on the right. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2.
Yeah, they were definitely on down the left hand side here. Leif Davis was out wide on the left hand side, raising his hands, shouting for the ball, and unfortunately just doesn't come to him.
Calvin Phillips plays the ball across the halfway line to O'Shea. One touch from him and on it goes to Twansebe. Morsey under pressure from Rodgers, just a little over enthusiastic there, piling through the back of him, and wins the free kick. And every time either side, player on either side gets fouled, they're straight into the referee's ear and complaining, beseeching for a little more protection, or the referee does something about it. Unai Emery is dancing down the left-hand touchline. Villa have some defending to do. Loose pass from Clark was intercepted. Davis gets it back for Ipswich. Phillips, not a good pass. Tielemans onto that for Aston Villa, up to the halfway line. Leif Davis stands in his way. Tielemans plays across to his midfield partner Onana. Now Konza to the right, and Bailey, who was just trying to let the ball run across him so he could dart down the right-hand side and fool Jack Clark, and it gets away from him and goes out for a throw-in to Ipswich inside their own half. Molly Stevens has seen a goal at Swansea in the Championship. Molly.
Swansea 1, Bristol City 0. Alistair, Swansea have got Ben Cabango to thank for that goal. A scramble right in front of the goal. It's been hectic here. First opening 14-15 minutes. Swansea will be glad to go 1-0 up after a brilliant Scott Twine effort not too far to go for Bristol. It's Swansea 1, Bristol 0.
Ipswich Town have won themselves a corner here at Portman Road. We're 8 minutes into the second half. 5 Live and BBC Sound. Sun still shining in Suffolk. Ipswich 1, Aston Villa 2. Jack Clark getting into space on the left. Cross blocked at the near post. And so Ipswich have a corner in front of that towering Sir Bobby Robson stand away to our left. Calvin Phillips takes the ball, adjusts the shin pads, places it deliberately down on the edge of the quadrant. Leif Davis is there for the short one. Leon Bailey is close by, and Phillips kills it in towards the far post, and that's an easy grab for Emi Martinez, who then just sees Yuri Tielemans in space, and suddenly Ipswich find themselves with Villa players charging at them, and Tielemans is brought down by Twanzebe in the centre circle. He complains it was accidental. He's the latest player to pick up a yellow card.
Yeah, it was always going to be a yellow card. The minute Twanzebe goes across the back of the legs of Tielemans, even though he doesn't stick him out, he knows exactly what he's doing. Tielemans also steps across him. He knows if he gets a touch, the slightest of touches is going to go down, and it's going to be a yellow card.
Yellow card indeed for Axel Twanzebe. Free kick Aston Villa. Ball just outside the centre circle, inside the Ipswich half. And Ezri Konza has options here. Could go left or could go right, or could go straight down the middle, or short, which he's done to Dean, who gives it back to Konza. Konza looks to his right. Short pass again. Finds Tielemans standing there. Cross to Bailey. Bailey's 40 yards out. Floats a pass into the Ipswich penalty area wide on the left. The offside flag is up. So Ipswich will have a free kick.
I think that's got to be every single free kick that they've had, Aston Villa. They've played short. They've not knocked it in the box. They've not looked to get it in the box early. They've always tried to play 2-3 passes, draw at an attacker, and then try and whip the ball in the box. But this time again, they just get it wrong each time.
Ipswich trying to play out from inside their own half. Calvin Phillips stabs at the ball with his right foot. The ball actually didn't go out of play, didn't find its target, and Diego Carlos is able to keep it in play for Villa. Plays back to his goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. Martinez on the edge of the D for Aston Villa. Next break in play will take you to Old Trafford. Our football correspondent John Murray is waiting with the team news ahead of Manchester United against Tottenham, which is our second Premier League commentary of the day. Ball down the middle. Ollie Watkins chases Muric well out of his penalty area, but needed to be there for Ipswich. Diving header away, and it finds Calvin Phillips in the end. Here's Hutchinson, who's able to turn inside the Villa half. Plays back here to Twanzebe. Ball just bobbled away from him, but Morsey is there to collect it for Ipswich. Watkins was clean through, had the keeper not read it and got there in time. Phillips up the middle of the pitch to Delap. Delap turns, didn't look, played the ball straight out of play. Villa throw. Team news from Old Trafford, John Murray.
Well, the team news brings confirmation that there is no Son Heung-min for Tottenham. Their captain is out and is replaced by Timo Werner. That's the only Tottenham change from their last league match last weekend. And from Manchester United's match at Crystal Palace, a couple of changes. Rashford back in the Premier League starting lineup. Ugarte as well, with Eriksson and Amad Diallo on the substitutes bench.
Thank you, John. Leon Osman alongside John Murray for commentary of Manchester United Tottenham on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, to be followed by 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Here's Tielemans under pressure inside his own half. Morsey's caught him. Morsey's on a yellow card. Tielemans is down hurt and in some pain, and Villa, of course, have got the big game against Bayern Munich at home on Wednesday night. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be very, very careful there. I mean, it's a little bit late, sort of in behind as well. Just seeing on the replay, there's no reason. Actually, he sort of kicks him with his toe in the back of Tielemans' Achilles.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a nice little challenge. I mean, I don't think there's any intent there whatsoever. It's a bit clumsy. Just has to be a little bit careful because he's on a yellow card.
Breeze has been up all afternoon here at Portman Road. I learnt in Friday's Fact of the Day, our feature on 5 Live Drive. The football commentators in competition with Tony Livesey said in the questions that back in 1911 there was a gale so strong in this part of the world that actually one of the stands was blown down, and Ipswich as a football club obviously had to raise money to replace it, and one of the things they did was a whippet race to raise funds to replace the stand. None of the structures that are still standing now, I don't believe, but that was the fact that I learnt. I didn't get the answer correct in Tony Livesey's Fact of the Day on Friday, 5:20 every Friday as we look ahead to the Premier League action. This is Ipswich 1, Villa 2. Here's Greaves, who was at fault, you'd have to say. He's been brilliant for Ipswich since signing from Hull in the summer, but it was his clearance that led to Villa's equaliser after Ipswich had taken the lead through Liam Delap. Greaves is on the ball again. Ipswich are in these dark blue shirts with the white pinstripe. The pass is driven away to the right. Obene jumps to try and win a header, beaten in the air by Dean, goes out for a throw into Ipswich. There's 2 balls on the field, and Jacob Ramsey just decides to leave that ball on the field just to slow Ipswich down in trying to take that restart quickly. Here's Dara O'Shea, cross to Greaves. Greaves thought about releasing the pass to Leif Davis, goes straight up the inside left channel to Clark, back to Greaves again, whose Ipswich Town shirt is billowing in the wind. Greaves across to O'Shea. O'Shea to Twansebe, just inside the Villa half. Good run made by Morsey here in between the lines for Ipswich. Wide it goes to Obene. He's not had much chance to run at Dean. Here he goes. He's bringing the ball across the face of the Villa half. Finds Jack Clark. Little scoop pass to the right. Twansebe's header blocked by Dean. Ipswich fans go up with a big handball shout. Don't think the Ipswich players really felt there was anything in that. And Ipswich continue to attack. Leon Bailey has slipped. It allows Leif Davis through a little gap. Davis still going. Anana challenges. Morsey drives the shot wide of the target, and behind it goes for a goal kick to Aston Villa. 15 minutes gone, second half, half an hour to play. Ipswich 1, Villa 2.
Well, Leif Davis does really well down this left-hand side as he comes in. We're just watching the replay. There's no handball. After Twansebe heads the ball across into Dean, hits him smack bang in the middle of the chest. But Leif Davis, like I said, does really well, cuts inside, lays the ball off, and Morsey has that shot from distance. I mean, it had to be something special to beat Martinez from that distance.
Yes, given his form today as well, Mark. That was the most hopeful of hopeful handball appeals that you can hear at a football ground there. I think the Ipswich fans deep down knew there was going to be nothing doing. Highlights tonight, Match of the Day 2, BBC One at 10:30, available on the BBC iPlayer as well. Here's Amari Hutchinson for Ipswich. He's lost it wide on the right in an attacking position, so you heard the groans from the home fans. Tielemans, clever ball threaded through for Rodgers. Such a good mover with the ball at his feet. Gets away from Phillips, brings it forward, tries the switch pass to release Ramsey on the left-hand side. That was cut out. Rodgers is the first to react and get to that ball. Again, holding Ipswich players off as he finds Konza, who's well forward in this attack. Bailey, who provided the cross for the Watkins goal to get Villa 2-1 in front. Back to Konza. And here's Carlos. Carlos side foots a pass. Cross to Pau Torres inside the Ipswich half. Tielemans to Ramsey, who does that little pirouette pivot, dragging the ball under the studs of the left boot, then the right boot to keep it for Villa. Carlos cross to Konza, to Bailey. Bailey's lost it to Clark. Clark on the move inside his own half. Amari Hutchinson making a run through the middle. He's now in an offside position. Then it's chipped over the top. Delap was offside as well. And the move dies for Ipswich.
Yeah, it was just way too late a ball. But then, to be fair, for Clark, he never really had the ball under control or the option to knock the ball over the top when the 2 runs were actually started. So, I mean, just no communication in the end.
Pau Torres slides a good pass to release Luca Dean. Dean plays infield to Ramsey. Ramsey to Tielemans. Tielemans to Anana. Central position, 40 yards out. Tielemans cross to Ramsey again. Villa just knocking it around inside the Ipswich half. Diego Carlos. Carlos to Konza. Ipswich trying to close it down. Here's Bailey on the right-hand side. Bailey languidly strokes a pass infield to Anana. Konza plays back into his own half again. Diego Carlos across to Pau Torres. Aston Villa waiting to make changes. And you know who, the man who scored all the goals off the bench this season, John Duran, is going to come on. Tielemans' ball through the middle. ends up at the feet of Harry Murich, the Ipswich keeper. One game in the Gallagher Premiership this afternoon, kicked off at 3 o'clock. Leicester Bath being watched by Chris Jones.
Ferocious first 20 minutes. Leicester have just taken the lead to the boot of Shilcock. Leicester 3, Bath 0. There's a spur on the pitch. We've got a yellow card. Bath should have scored at least twice, didn't. Leicester should have scored. Ollie Hassel-Collins over the line, dropped it. Rugby's version of an open goal, 0.99 on the XG. Leicester 3, Bath 0 after 20.
Thank you, Chris. Chris, who was watching Saracens beat Sale yesterday, so Sarries 2 wins out of 2. Whoever wins that one between Leicester and Bath will also be 2 wins out of 2. And the one-day international continues in Bristol as well. I believe England setting Australia 309 in the deciding one-day international. 2-2 in the series going into that one as Aston Villa wait to make the double change. Jaden Philogene is the other player who'll come on with John Duran. Ipswich knocking it around inside their own half. We'll give you an update on the cricket in just a second. Here's Greaves. Greaves plays across to Calvin Phillips. Phillips launches a diagonal towards O'Bene. It's over the head of Dean. It's a great ball, actually. O'Bene's able to keep it in play. Dean closes him down. O'Bene's looking to win the throw-in, and he's done that for Ipswich, and I think he's going to think about taking that quickly, unless Villa are going to try and make the changes before Ipswich can do that. The referee is saying, yes, we are going to do that, so why don't we check in on the cricket in Bristol. Nikesh Regani.
As we see Australia smash another 6. Matthew Short pulling one into the crowd to take Australia onto 78 without loss after just 7 overs. 310 is the target. There is going to be probably a little bit of rain around later on, so Australia deciding to go hard early on, try and get above that Duckworth-Lewis par score, and 20 overs, remember, constitutes a match. So we've got 13 overs still needing to be bowled in their innings to constitute a match, but at the moment Australia off like a bullet train, 78 for none after the first 7 overs.
OK, thank you, Nagesh. Commentary continues on Radio 5 Sports Extra. John Duran, Jaden Philogene on for Villa. Morgan Rogers, Leon Bailey, the 2 players to make way. Morgan Rogers has played a lot of football for Aston Villa at the start of this season, so he's getting a rest into the big game against Bayern Munich on Wednesday. We'll have full commentary of that. Villa against Bayern in the Champions League. Tuesday night we've got commentary of Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain. Don't miss that one either. Thursday night, Porto against Manchester United. Full commentary of that from the Europa League. Dara O'Shea, Ipswich's centre-back, finds himself over on the left wing. Good first touch from him. Plays it back to Leif Davis. Here's Jack Clark, 40 yards from goal, bringing the ball infield. Plays to Hutchinson, who's got his back to goal. And Ipswich still trailing Aston Villa by 2 goals to 1. But look out for John Duran, looking for that ball through, this time to Clark, headed away only as far as Hutchinson. Anana onto the loose ball, plays it onto the chest of Ramsey, back to Anana, then Luca Dean in the left back position, down the line he goes, into the feet of Watkins, still out there for Villa. They've worked it brilliantly, Aston Villa. Luca Dean charging down the left, keeps this ball in play. Philogene and Duran making ground in the middle here. Philogene playing wide on the right where Leon Bailey was, in the bright pink boots and the number 19 on his back, and Villa has slowed it down for a second. In control of this game, leading by 2 goals to 1. And here's Konza. Konza goes wide to Philogene, who runs into Davis. Oh, and gets the free kick as well there. Aston Villa free kick on the way. Wicket down in Bristol. Nikesh.
Yeah, Bryden Cast with his first delivery of the innings round the wicket to Travis Head, who scooped one straight to short extra cover. Easy catch for Phil Salt. Australia then chasing 310, a 78 for 1 in the 8th over.
Trying the rugby as well, Chris Jones.
Yeah, mentioned up Bath should have scored a couple of times early on. They have got on the board now. Will Butt with the initial break, then Will Muir streaking down the left touchline to score. 23 gripping minutes gone. Leicester 3, Bath 5.
Wes Burns waiting to come on for Ipswich. Live at Portman Road, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 24 minutes to play plus added time. Aston Villa leading by 2 goals to 1. Tielemans dummies the free kick and goes sideways to Dean. Plays it back to Tielemans. He's closer to the penalty area now. Gets that all wrong. Balloons it over the Ipswich bar, and it goes behind for a goal kick. And Jack Taylor is coming on for Ipswich as well. So, I mean, Ipswich still in this game. Aston Villa have been in control since getting themselves in front, Mark Schwarzer. Not over yet, though.
No, you're right. And again, Aston Villa free kick wide. What do? They knock it short, get it back again, then overhit the cross, goes out straight for a goal kick. So they just haven't got their set plays working at this moment in time.
Yeah, I was out doing their first Champions League game in Switzerland where the short corner went to Tielemans, and Tielemans played it was Tielemans who ended up scoring the goal. I think it was McGinn's cross into the box, but it was similar, where they were waiting for the initial delivery, went short, and then created themselves the goal. I think Ezri Konsa scored one like that against Wolves last weekend. So Aston Villa looking to make it 5 wins out of 6 in the Premier League and get themselves level on points with Liverpool. Big game at Old Trafford on the way as well. Full commentary coming your way on Manchester United Tottenham. Philogene is chasing. Davis has got his hands full here for Ipswich. Gets to that ball just in time, facing his own goal, gets away from Philogene and then clips it forward with his left foot up towards Delap, who leaps in the air, cushions a volley pass back to Morsey, finds Calvin Phillips. Phillips under pressure here from Ramsey, plays back to Greaves. Ipswich fans applaud that. Morsey curls a sweet pass onto the right boot of Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe moves it forward quickly to Hutchinson, who's wide on the right, tries to beat Tielemans on the inside. Tielemans just holds him up for now, and Ipswich come back into their own half with O'Shea across to Tuanzebe on the right again, but still inside the Ipswich half. Now they play forward. Here's Jack Clark, gets away from the challenge of Onana, still moving forward for Ipswich, slides it to his own. Leif Davis drives it wide, slices it wide of the near post and behind for a goal kick. Leicester-Arsenal in the WSL. Chris Coles.
30 minutes in, Leicester 0, Arsenal 0, all Arsenal, but they're coming up against admirably proficient Leicester defence, who are repelling everything Arsenal have got very well indeed. They're also looking pretty good on the break. No goals, 30 minutes in, Leicester 0, Arsenal 0.
And Liverpool still leading West Ham by 1-0. Manchester United 1 up at Everton in the WSL. Calvin Phillips replaced by Jack Taylor. Chidozio Bene replaced by the Welsh international Wes Burns. Kieran McKenna making the changes with 20 minutes and a little bit more remaining in this game, with Ipswich off the back of 3 draws. The home draw against Fulham, the 0-0 away to Brighton, the 1-1 against Southampton last week, but still looking for this first Premier League win of the season. I think right now they probably, if they could get themselves an equaliser and keep it there, Mark, I don't think they'd be too disappointed with a point against Aston Villa, because Aston Villa proving that they are a very good football team.
No, definitely, yeah. I mean, look, they're in the game still. They're only 1 goal in it. They're holding their own. They've just got to create some more chances. They haven't really done enough since taking the lead to warrant any decent chances on goal. And Aston Villa, obviously, at the moment, because they're in the lead, they're happy just to sit back at times, absorb the pressure, take their time, not rushing anything.
Luca Dean's throw into Ollie Watkins, who did well to hold on to that for Villa inside their half, or given away by Ramsey to Clark. Clark moves into a little bit of space. Onana tries to make the tackle, does make the tackle. It might work for Villa here. Morsey, challenge on Philogene. Philogene's gone down, holding his right leg. The referee's now stopped the game and given the free kick to Villa. Took a while to make that decision, which is why there's so much unhappiness from the Ipswich fans and the Ipswich players going query the decision. What did you see there, Mark Schwarzer?
It looked like he raised his foot and trotted down on him. So for me, I don't know, like, we're going to have to wait and see what they see on the replay. It looked like straight away it was a foul. I thought he's in trouble.
Well, he's gone in one-footed. VAR can't get involved if it's a yellow card decision. If they think it's a potential red card decision, they could. Sam Morsey's on a yellow card. He's possibly lucky.
Yeah, it's definitely not a red card, but I think it's very close to being a yellow. It should be a yellow. Okay. I think he's very lucky, you're right.
Could have been off. Diego Carlos takes the free kick. O'Shea up early to beat Watkins in the air this time. Jack Taylor, the sub, underneath it for Ipswich. Nodded to his left by Onana for Everton. Here's Ramsey. Ramsey plays it to Luca Dean. We're into the last 20 minutes of this game. Full commentary of Manchester United against Tottenham on the way. Torres finds Carlos, now Konsa. Konsa slides it forward. Here's John Duran, busy and bustling as ever. He's got his right hand, right wrist heavily strapped up in a white bandage. He's stayed wide right at the moment with Philogene through the middle. Jayden Philogene's the 22-year-old who rejoined Aston Villa in the summer from Hull. Pau Torres plays a ball over the top into a lot of space inside the Ipswich half. Greaves has it covered. Philogene breathing down his neck. Back to his goalkeeper Muric, who sends the ball spinning high into the air. Onana's able to take that down under no pressure at all. Chests it down to himself. And it's now with Konsa. Little 1-2 with Onana. Konsa moves into space on the right. Ipswich are backpedaling, trailing Aston Villa by 2-1. Konsa tries to work that one through to Watkins. Didn't find him. Taylor plays out from the edge of his box. Hutchinson with space. Delap with even more space on the left-hand side. Ipswich fans excited. Delap making ground into the Villa box. Step over. Left-footed drive. Bottom corner. What a goal from Ipswich's centre forward. From one end of the field to the other. Lovely skill as he swerved into the penalty area and fired the shot across Emi Martinez, who couldn't save that one. And Ipswich are level. Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2.
It's an excellent goal from Delap. As he comes down the left-hand side here, he's got a lot to do still. He's got some really good touches on his left and right foot, beats the defender and smashes it into that far corner. Really good counter goal. Villa will be kicking themselves. Konza makes the wrong decision, but from that point onwards, Ipswich are on the front foot. Delap starts right out on the left-hand side. As he cuts back inside, he just takes Pal Torres out. I see Diego Costa out of the game. Great touch, and finds that bottom corner. Really good finish.
21 years old, Liam Delap, signed for an initial £15 million from Manchester City. 2 goals in the game, and that is a fabulous strike with his left foot. So, all to play for, with about 20 minutes or so of football to be played. 17 minutes of normal time. No, a little bit more than that, isn't it? And then added time as well. And now Konza under pressure again. Jack Clark tries to win it off him. Clark's gone down hurt off the side of the field. Villa keep this ball in play inside their own half. Anana forward to Duran. Greaves through on Duran. Space for Villa here. Jacob Ramsey, edge of the Ipswich box. Right-footed drive is high, rising, and into those Ipswich fans behind that goal, away to our right. Ipswich 2, Villa 2.
There's chances at either end here, and it's great play at the moment. The game's open right up. Villa obviously trying to put their foot down a bit more, trying to get the game going a bit. And it was a good chance from Ramsey. He just gets too far underneath. That option's out wide on the left-hand side. Opts to go himself and just smashes it over the crossbar. 16 minutes, do my maths now, of normal time remaining, plus the added time at the end of the game. So around about 20 minutes or so to go. Manchester United, Tottenham to follow here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It's been some weekend of Premier League football. John Duran back on his feet. Yellow card shown to Greaves. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a late challenge on John Duran. I mean, I'm not sure what. I mean, the referee went to John Duran initially, started chatting to him, asked him if he's okay, then turned around and went to Greaves to give him a yellow card. I mean, should have been a yellow card straight away to Greaves.
Right, goal kick for Ipswich, which Muric takes. Centre-backs either side of him, not going to use them. Powers it downfield. Anana's up to win the header. Leif Davis, he's fallen awkwardly there. Philogene and Davis jumping for a ball. Philogene just got caught by Davis as he came down, but it's Davis who's landed heavily and is holding the small of his back. And he came down from a great height there. So that is going to be painful, and that is going to mean another stoppage in play.
Yeah, I think he's all right. Yeah, he's up now. I mean, I think he's fortunate the way he landed there. And Philogene just tries to go for the ball, and as it is, you've got Leif Davis so high up in the air, and he hits his legs and sort of takes his legs a bit away from him. But his landing is pretty good.
Right, is one of these two teams going to find a winner here? Watch the highlights of the game, Match the Day 2 tonight, BBC 1 half-10, and you can see exactly what Mark Schwarzer was talking about, the space vacated by Ezri Konza on the right-hand side that gave Ipswich so much to work with for that second goal. Taylor plays back to O'Shea. O'Shea across to Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe to Wes Burns, who's not really been involved as yet. Tuanzebe forward to Hutchinson. Pau Torres has followed him all the way up to the halfway line there. Hutchinson twisting, turning, teasing, keeps it for Ipswich. Back to Morsey. Morsey to O'Shea. Into the last 15 minutes at Portman Road. 2-2. Leif Davis under a bit of pressure. Has to play back into his own half. Here's Greaves. Like Jack Clark, playing with the thin hairband to hold the dark hair back. There is Clark. To O'Shea. O'Shea sweeps a pass to his right to Tuanzebe. Wes Burns starts to make a run. Ipswich decide not to use him. Here's Morsey. Short ball across the halfway line to Taylor. Taylor's lofted diagonal. Davis trying to get on the end of it. Had his hand just in the back of Philogene there to try and knock him off balance. The ball has run to the left and Leif Davis has kept it for Ipswich. Jack Clark is there in support. Finds Clark. Good touch takes him away from Anana. Then he beats Philogene as well. Davis is there if Ipswich want to get the cross in. Here it comes with the left foot. Delivery attack by Tuanzebe. Good defending by Dean. The ball spins out of the Villa box and goes behind for an Ipswich corner. Listen to that noise at Portman Road.
Yeah, it's a great ball in the box from Jack Clark. Actually, knocks it back to Leif Davies. Leif Davies hits it first time, or takes his touch, knocks it in the box there. Tuanzebe, I think he just misjudges it. I don't think he gets the right connection because Dean's behind him, and he's the one that actually makes the clearance in the end.
13 minutes to play. Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2. Stuart Atwell, what's he saying to Jack Clark here? Oh, he's saying you've got to have to move the ball back a centimetre or two to get it right on the edge of the line here. Stuart Atwell comes jogging all the way over here. Obviously, this is the other side of the field to the assistant referee. Stuart Atwell, that seems incredibly pedantic. Comes over and Jack Clark just rolls it back ever so gently. Probably while he's got his back turned, he's probably rolled it forward again as well. Let's see what Ipswich can do with the corner. Jack Clark's got his hand in the air. Right-footed delivery. Anana throws himself at the header. Good power on it to get it well clear of the Villa box. Morsey plays it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the move. 25 yards out. Hits the shot. Forwards rising over the bar and behind for the Villa goal kick. Latest from the 5th one-day international in Bristol, Nikesh Ragani.
Australia's still going along well. 310 is the target. They're 97 for 1 in the 10th over. Steve Smith just survived an LBW shout given out on field, overturned on review as missing leg stump. He remains on 14. 97 for 1 Australia in the 10th over.
Aston Villa have taken their goal kick short. They've worked it out to the left-back position. Pau Torres clears that ball. Headed forward by Greaves, nodded back into the feet of Morsey. Morsey sees Clark to his left. Those two exchange a little 1-2. Villa chasing desperately to try and win this ball back. But Sam Morsey, the Ipswich captain, possibly lucky to still be on the field, driving forward. Lays it off to Taylor. Taylor on his right foot, just outside the box, scoops it into the path of Delap. Delap leaps in the air, turns, and the ball just gets away from him, runs behind the byline and goes behind for the goal kick. Just trying to shake off the attentions of Diego Carlos. Leicester Bath in the Gallagher Premiership. Chris Jones.
Leicester try, Leicester 10, Bath 5. Welford Road going mad. Jack Van Portfleet, the scrum half, started it by returning a Finn Russell kick. He finished it with a classic snipe. And despite being under the pump for loads this first half, Leicester lead with 5 to go to the break. Leicester 10, Bath 5.
Emi Buendia, Ian Matson waiting to come on for Aston Villa. They're sweeping forward. Watkins to Ramsey on the left, looking for the run of Watkins. Greaves read it, cuts across and just hoofs the ball into the top tier of that cobbled stand which runs alongside the pitch opposite to us. Austin McPhee is in conversation, animated conversation with Ian Matson, Emi Buendia and Ross Barkley. It's going to be a triple change for Aston Villa late in this game. Luca Dean, long throw into the Ipswich box. O'Shea heads it away. Hutchinson jumps to win a header. Dean's going to keep this in play, tries to fire a cross in, blocked by Burns. Dean felt that might have been handball. Hutchinson under pressure inside his own penalty area, sclaffs a clearance away, but only as far as Konza. Konza 35 yards out, plays to Torres. Torres' curling ball. Watkins had just drifted off the back of Greaves there. The cross didn't find him. Here's Delap with the blue socks rolled down, the bright orange boots. Back to Taylor. Taylor through the middle to Clark. Ipswich have men over to the right-hand side. Wes Burns wants it. He gets it. One touch, fires the shot. Brilliant block by Pau Torres. Takes it behind for the corner. 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant play. Gain from Ipswich. Clark's in the thick of things. Great run on the left-hand side. He possibly just took one touch too many before he lays it off, and that allows Pau Torres to get across and make a vital block.
As they came forward there, Mike, you could hear the fans urging him to play it just that little bit earlier, because we've got such a fabulous view. You could see it was on if he'd just released it a bit earlier. Corner then for Ipswich. 2-2. Leif Davis goes across to take. Villa waiting to make a triple change. Pretty sure they're not going to do that ahead of a defensive set piece. Leif Davis holds his right arm in the air. Ipswich looking for this first league win of the season. Davis delivers with his left foot. Duran is there. Up he goes, heads it away. Hutchinson kills it stone dead on the instep of his right boot. Plays back to Morsey. Morsey's got to turn and come into his own half. Here's Murich. Murich digs his right foot underneath the ball and sends it right up in the air. Anana leaps unchallenged, heads it forward to the halfway line. Morsey is there. Now to Taylor, fires it back at Murich and makes a good touch there. That was awkward, not under any real pressure when he controlled it. Waits for Watkins to sort of trot towards him and then just lays it off to Greaves. Greaves flicks it forward to Taylor. Taylor turns inside his own half. Watkins is chasing. Taylor reaches the halfway line, comes back to Greaves. Now Morsey. Morsey in a central position. Hutchinson's ahead of him if he wants to play the straight ball. Gives it to Delap. Delap couldn't control it. Tielemans, a little bit of keepy up from him. Keeps it for Villa. Well worked. Laid off by Duran to Ramsey on the left. Ipswich now scrambling back to try and get into the defensive positions. Ramsey back to Tielemans. Still the 3 Villa subs in their white change kits. Wait to get onto the Portman Road pitch. 8 minutes plus added time remaining. Here's Luca Dean on the left for Villa. Back to Tielemans. Tielemans threads it through. Duran turning on the edge of the box, and the referee says free kick. He says Duran was caught. Duran fell in the box, and referee Stuart Atwell says the challenge was outside the box.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's outside the box, but he took a long time to make that decision, didn't he, the referee? He just looked at it and watched it, looked at Duran rolling around. Yeah, I think he's right. I think it is a free kick. He does go through the back of Duran.
Yeah, Taylor tries to win that ball, but yeah, exactly that, Mark. Comes through the back of Duran's legs, knocks him over, but it was outside the penalty area. So nervy moments for Ipswich. Changes coming now for Aston Villa. Luca Dean, he's annoyed with that. He was thinking, I'm going to take this free kick and whip it into the top corner. He's fuming. Here's Luca Dean. So he's going to be replaced by Ian Matson. He's going to make the point here, isn't he? He's going to make the point that he could have taken this free kick. Tielemans is coming off as well. And let's see who the third one is going to be. I think Ollie Watkins is going to get some rest. Yeah, Ollie Watkins off. So Matson on for Dean. Ross Barkley on for Tielemans in midfield. And Emi Buendia, great to see him back playing regularly again. Missed the whole of last season with a nasty knee injury. Scored against Wickham as the captain of the team in the League Cup in midweek. And he is on for Ollie Watkins. So 6.5 minutes plus added time. 2-2.
As the boos go around, the ex Norwich City player.
Well spotted, Mark, of course. Emi Buendia, signed from Norwich 4 seasons ago. Oh, he might be taking the free kick as well, Mark. So he might have the last laugh here for Aston Villa. That Ipswich wall is nowhere near 10 yards back. So they're going to just delay this as much as they can. Long white line of vanishing spray gets put down on the pitch by Stuart Atwell. Ipswich defenders get marched back behind the line. One of the players lying down on their side, I think that's Leif Davis, who's going into the old draft excluder position. Obviously going to be Emi Buendia's first touch of the game. Former Norwich man, can he score the goal to get Aston Villa back in front? Long delay here. Aston Villa putting a 2-man, 3-man wall in the way of the Ipswich wall just to make it as difficult as they can for Muric.
Actually looks like they've got 5 there now.
Yeah, it's 2 walls, isn't it?
There is. I mean, it's right in front of Muric, so he can't see a thing.
Yeah. If this shot gets through unimpeded by anyone, that'll be an absolute miracle. Muric waits, giant figure in the pink goalkeeping outfit. Could play a short pass to the right to Matson to hit one on the edge of the box, but Buendia looks like he's only got eyes for the direct free kick. Closing stages of the game at Portman Road. Ipswich 2, Villa 2. Whistle blows. Buendia, great drama here, approaches the ball right-footed, scoops it over the bar, and the Ipswich fans delight in that. Not the best execution.
Nowhere near it, really. I mean, no, it was a big disappointment in the end, and it just looked like he was just going to go for the Aston Villa wall, hit it through that, and then all of a sudden he just goes for the little chip over the top.
Yeah.
And I mean, firstly, he didn't have the pace, and secondly, the height was just, no way near it.
As Luca Dean's probably sort of chuntering away on the Villa bench to Unai Emery. I could have taken that, 2-2. Here's Jack Taylor bringing it out of the Ipswich half on the left-hand side, and both teams still really going hell for leather to try and find a winner. Leif Davis does really well to keep that ball in play. Attacking position on the left, wins Ipswich to the corner. That's all he really could do down there, and that is what he's done.
He's been excellent. He's been excellent for Ipswich today. Every sort of attack has gone down the left-hand side. Leif Davis has been at the front of it, as well as Jack Clark. I think the two of them have been excellent for Ipswich.
So corner for Ipswich Town. 2-2 against Aston Villa. 87th minute of the game. Jack Clark waits to take it. Pauses for a second, holds his right hand in the air. Here comes that delivery into the box. Headed away, but only as far as Clark. Down on the byline again for Ipswich, wide on the left. Back to Davis. Neat first touch from Davis. Finds Morsey. Hutchinson's moved into space. Ross Barkley comes steaming out to try and close it down. Barkley's done well. He's taken it off Hutchinson, who tries to win it back. Davis in, wins an important tackle. Ipswich still have it. Trying to bring it forward. Buendia now blocks it. pinging about all over the place, and then O'Shea, taking no prisoners, just puts his right foot through it, clears it all the way downfield, and Maatsen lets it go behind for the goal kick. That could have turned into a counter-attack for either team. It's reached half-time. Leicester-Arsenal in the WSL. Chris Coles.
Goalless because of two brilliant saves apiece from both goalkeepers. Jutta Rantala's well-struck left-foot effort miraculously touched onto the crossbar by Daphne van Domselaar, making her Arsenal debut. At the other end, Leah Valti's effort tipped over the bar by Lietze Kopp in the Leicester goal. Two high-class saves, meaning we're level at Leicester 0, Arsenal 0.
88th minute of the game. Ipswich's midfielders fell asleep there. Emi Buendia pounces onto a ball inside the Ipswich half. Wide to Ramsey. Ramsey finds the Dutch left-back Maatsen. Now Ross Barkley. Ipswich players in front of him. Hutchinson doesn't make the tackle, just stands off him, lays it off to Maatsen. Maatsen plays it back to Torres. Torres across to Diego Carlos. Carlos opens it up to the right, and here's Philogene, who's got Jack Clark and Leif Davis in front of him. Back to Konza, across to Carlos. Carlos side-foots a ball to Pau Torres. Torres with his left foot slides it to Maatsen. Ipswich hoping they've got all the angles covered here late in this game. They've won the ball, they're on the break. Hutchinson with speed, Barkley is chasing, drags him back. Hutchinson, no free kick, he's lost the ball. What can Villa do with the counter? Buendia in the centre circle, plays it to Barkley. Barkley just making strides into the Ipswich half, then goes to his left hand side, and George Hurst is waiting to come on for Ipswich, the centre forward. Liam Delap, the man out there, has scored the 2 goals that has this game at 2-2. We're going to get half-time on Leicester Bath in the Gallagher Premiership shortly. Let's see what Villa can do with this, though. Philogene, little 1-2 with Buendia, into the feet of Duran. Duran holding off defenders. Ipswich have won that ball. Hutchinson plays it to Morsey. Morsey across to Clark. Wes Burns making a run into the Villa half, and then Clark slips as he tried to play the ball, and Torres easily intercepts it. It really is end-to-end at the moment. Maatsen driving forward down the left-hand side. Ramsey involved, 1-2 between the pair of them. Ramsey across to Barkley. Barkley might fancy his chances, lines up the shot, hits the shot. Muric palms it away, it falls to Davis, and Davis clears it away to the halfway line with his left foot. Leicester Bath half-time. Chris Jones.
Leicester 10, Bath 5. Chaotic first 40. Tigers ahead thanks to the Jack Van Portfleet try. Bath have been really probing with ball in hand, but have only scored once through Will Muir. Bath wasteful. Leicester scrambling and leading. Leicester 10, Bath 5.
90th minute at Portman Road. Thank you, Chris. Ipswich 2, Villa 2. Sammy Smodix is waiting to come on for Ipswich as well, but it's Villa doing the attacking at the moment. Barkley, little chip ball, headed away on the edge of the box, falls to Clark, and Clark thumps it away into the Villa half. 2-2 at the feet of Emi Martinez. No one to chase that ball forward for Ipswich there. Yeah, double change is coming shortly. Oh, that's a clever pass. Finds Buendia in space. Tries to find Duran. Duran, nearly made it into the box. What a sliding interception from Jacob Grief. Just got the tiniest bit of toe on that to keep it away from John Duran. Otherwise, I think the script might have been written. Delap accidentally takes a hand in the face from Diego Carlos. The referee doesn't stop the game. He saw what happened there. It is a head injury, but I think Stuart Atwell thinks that Delap is okay. What's he saying? No, he's saying head injury, and will stop the game, and Aston Villa can play. So, added time, how much of it? No, we're going to make changes first. Mark Schwarzer, Ipswich 2, Villa 2. This game's been as good as I thought it was going to be, actually.
Yeah, it's been end-to-end stuff, very entertaining. I mean, Delap there, you can see he went down holding his face. I think it was more of a sort of a palm in the face, nothing else, nothing too serious. And as Ipswich are making actually 3 substitutions.
Oh, yeah. Luongo is coming on as well. So Jack Clark is coming off. George Hurst is coming on. Massimo Luongo, former teammate of Neda Manua, we were hearing earlier in the show today, is coming on as well for Sam Morsey, the Ipswich skipper. And Sammy Smodix is on as the 3rd Ipswich substitute in the changes. So, added time at the end of this game. Ipswich 2, Villa 2. Here we go. 5 added minutes at the end of this game. Are we going to see a winner for either team here? And Liam Delap, of course, the other player to come off, and what a part he's played for Ipswich in this game. Anana caught by Jack Taylor. Referee says play advantage. A minute of added time has already gone, but that was taken up with the substitutions, really. Unai Emery is absolutely furious. Don't forget, Wednesday night will be a very special listen here. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Aston Villa at home against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Can Aston Villa go into that game off the back of another Premier League one? They're the ones doing the pressing late in this game. They're the ones who've got the ball inside the Ipswich half. They've lost it now. Here's Hutchinson, great body movement, gets away from Buendia, slides it through here to George Hurst on the right-hand side for Ipswich. Pau Torres is back there doing the defending. Hurst in a rather ungainly fashion goes down, picks himself up, looking to try and win a corner or something for Ipswich here, and he's done it in the end. Challenged by two Villa players, but Mark Schwarzer, he's got the corner for Ipswich.
He does well. He originally tries to get a foul, doesn't get the decision from the referee, so jumps up to his feet and manages just to hold two Villa players off and win the corner. Very well played.
Ipswich taking their time over the set piece. Leif Davis is roared towards this corner flag. They are baying for a late Ipswich winner. Ipswich's last win in the top flight of English football was here April 2002, 22 years ago. Ipswich going down that season. They're back in the Premier League. Can they get a late winner? Omari Hutchinson from the short corner, down by the byline. Villa defenders in front of him. Gets it back to Leif Davis. Taylor wants it. Edge of the box. Right-footed curler straight at Martinez, who makes the catch. Immediately to his feet, comes sprinting out to the edge of the box. Side volleys the ball up towards Duran. Luongo made the challenge. Duran is down hurt again. No free kick. Leif Davis. Diagonal pass. Controlled on the left-hand side for Ipswich. Smodics plays it back here to Hutchinson. Hutchinson inside the Villa penalty area. Smodics is there in support, wide on the left. Plays this ball back to Taylor. Taylor across to Luongo. Luongo, couple of touches, finds Twanzebe in support on the right-hand side. We're into the last 2 minutes of the game at Portman Road. It's 2-2. Wes Burns darting down the right-hand side. Maatson sticking with him. Ipswich win another corner. So last 3 or 4 minutes, it's all been Villa. Now at the end of the game, it's all Ipswich.
Yeah, you can see as the game's gone on and on, they've just grown in confidence, Ipswich as well. So they've really put a lot of pressure on Villa in these latter stages of the game. And this is exactly where they want to play it. Down in the Villa end, trying to put a pressure on to find that winning goal.
So many late winners in the Championship last season that saw Ipswich come flying through the division and win promotion into the Premier League. We're heading into the last minute of added time at Portman Road. Ipswich 2, Villa 2. Leif Davis waits to take this corner for Ipswich, attacking the goal away to our left. In it comes towards the near post. Ball is loose inside the box. Duran had a wild hack at that, completely missed it. Ipswich win another corner. Emi Martinez claims he kept that ball in play. We'll have to see quickly to Bristol, the cricket, Nikesh.
Yeah, where England have set Australia at 310 to win. They've just taken their second wicket. Matthew Shaw edging one behind off the bowling of Matthew Potts. Australia now 118 for 2 after 13 overs.
Commentary over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Last knockings of this game. Ipswich Town attacking. They have the set piece. Again, it's the corner from wide on the right. And Leif Davis just, well, he waits because the assistant referee is standing in his way. And Stuart Atwell, I think, is still... He's waiting to hear something here because he's holding the play out and it's VAR looking at a potential handball, maybe by Diego Carlos, I think. Referee now happy, they've had a look. No penalty. Corner in. Now this is a high swinging deep one to the far post. Headed away to the edge of the box. Luongo bravely jumps, heads it forward. Smodics goes for it, the ball loose inside the box. Buendia stabs it away, the offside flag is up and Aston Villa are going to get a late free kick. Martinez was caught, but he's up to his feet quickly. Great drama at the end of this game. Wow.
Yeah, it was a good effort there. Ipswich get the ball back in the box. There's a bit of a melee for the ball originally. Villa only half clear. Ipswich the ball back in the box and there's a coming together, and I think he may have been offside.
Yeah.
But the referee gives a free kick anyway because of the collision with Martinez.
Right, we are beyond the allotted 5 minutes of added time. Greaves jumps to win a header. Taylor with the second header for Ipswich inside their own half. Anana, good footwork, finds Konza. Late attacking now from Villa in this game. Philogene takes on Leif Davis, heads for the byline. Dummies to get the crossing, keeps it, then he loses the ball, runs into Davis. Ipswich still have time here if they want to launch one from Smodics. Good ball from Smodics, finds Hurst on the left-hand side. Carlos has it covered for Villa at the moment. Hurst has the ball at his feet, Carlos gets a touch on it. They're shoulder to shoulder, the two big men, and then Carlos eventually wins the day and Ross Barkley takes the ball away for Aston Villa. Stuart Atwell has had a couple of looks at the watch. Hutchinson in with a tackle. The ball bounces out of play for a throw, and the full-time whistle blows at Portman Road, and a couple of the Ipswich players fall to the turf, utterly exhausted. A fourth draw in a row for them takes them out of the bottom three. They led early through Liam Delap. Aston Villa got themselves in front before half-time. Goals from Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. Emi Martinez then made a couple of fabulous saves to keep Aston Villa ahead. But they left the door open at one point in that second half, Mark Schwarzer, and it was Liam Delap who took full advantage to score a fabulous equaliser.
Yeah, Ipswich were great. You know, they just did not give up the whole of the game. I thought Villa in the end, taking that 2-1 lead, they just took their foot off the pedal a little bit. They were happy to kind of just sort of mosey on along a little bit. Didn't really go for it enough, and they could have finished Ipswich off. But Ipswich, to their credit, stuck at it, and they played really well. And like you mentioned, Martinez pulled off 2 really good saves. It could have been a very different outcome to this game.
Yeah, it's been a tough start to the season for Ipswich. First 2 games against Liverpool and Manchester City, they lost those. Champions League Aston Villa here today, got themselves 2-1 in front. What a night they've got ahead of them on Wednesday at home against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, but held by Ipswich Town today. Reaction to come. Aston Villa move to 13 points, but stay behind Chelsea on goal difference, and Ipswich move out of the bottom 3. Proper entertainment at Portman Road. It finished Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2.
Cracking game. Mark Schwarzer, it goes without saying that you need goals in your team if you're going to survive in the Premier League. The early signs from Liam Delap, capped with that brilliant second, are really positive for Ipswich.
They certainly are. I mean, Aston Villa struggled with him. Pal Torres and Diego Costa really struggled to deal with him. He sort of bullied them almost all game, and his runs down the left-hand side when he scored that second goal was excellent. His step over, tucked inside, and then found that bottom right-hand corner was brilliant.
We said before the game, we talked about Aston Villa, massive game coming up on Wednesday. We're doing live commentary on 5 Live of the Bayern Munich game, and would it have an impact? But this wasn't that, was it? It was just 2 teams really going at it. It was nothing to do with looking past Ipswich Town, was it?
No, I don't think so. I think Villa definitely didn't look beyond it. It was all about today, and I think they just came up against an Ipswich side, obviously, who are, they're fighting for their lives. Even though it's this early start of the season, they want to get on a run. They need to get on a run. This has to become a fortress. And today's performance, and helped along by a fantastic crowd, I think is a lot of credit to them. They never gave up, and they're, like I said in the commentary, unlucky not to get more out of this game.
Absolutely. Thank you both. Ipswich 2, Aston Villa 2. Cracking game.